GEEKS!
Hello and welcome to episode 35 of Geeks, the world's #1 entertainment podcast recorded in this room. I'm your host, Al White. I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell. I don't like Mexican food because of the onions, and I broke 2 toes this week in a freak basketball accident. Joining me today for a very, very special episode, They Live, Alexander Chard.
Hello. What did you say?
They Live.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Was that confusing? Ghost of Mars, Adrian Auld.
G'day. Hello.
You promised me no Australia today.
Sorry.
Elvis, Achara Kirk.
Hello.
And the Prince of Darkness, Jaby, and I'm going to say it wrong. So you're gonna
Jaby Koay.
Koay.
Hello, people.
Thank you so much for coming and being our special guest today, Jaby. How you doing?
I am excellent, sir. Thank you.
Since you're our special guest, do you want to introduce yourself to anyone who doesn't know who you are, although probably people know?
Sure. I am an actor, a YouTuber, more so a YouTuber than an actor at this point. I just crossed 100,000 subscribers, which is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So it is my full-time gig. And when my foot's not messed up, I'm doing martial arts.
What's messed up with your foot?
I was doing run-up-the-wall backflips, and I
That would do
hyperextended my foot. It ruptured something in there, so I have a plantar fasciitis now. And it's healing.
Fuck.
So, yeah, once that's back to good, then I can go back to showing off to girls.
Don't you come in here and try and one-up me because I kicked a stone?
Yeah, I was
earlier
going
this
to
week?
say, so Al, tell us about your injury.
Which was more-
I'm sure it was...
Which is more impressive, running up a wall and backflipping, or aiming for a basketball and accidentally kicking a stone with your bare foot?
And on occasion, I do lightsaber fight scenes.
I was going to say, because when I watched that, I didn't realize, and then you started doing some cool moves. I was like, wow, okay, this guy knows what he's fucking doing.
That fight scene is actually why I hurt myself, because people saw that and they're like, wow, you can do those tricks? And I'm like, I don't know. It's been a long time. Let me go back to the gymnastics center and, brush up on my skills. And then I got hurt. So, yeah.
What's the film called again?
Way of the Saber.
Way of the Saber.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Excellent. So, do you have... Probably should talk to you about this before we start the
good.
podcast, but I'm going to do it right now.
Let's do it.
Throw you in the deep end. When we have guests come on, we like them just to say, to name some stuff that's important to them so people get an idea of their personality, whether it's video games they like, movies they like, books they like, food they like, whatever. So just maybe three to 5 things.
And a few things. Let's see. I love sushi and I love Thai food. That's not relevant to most of what I talk about. But let's see. I love the movie Whiplash. That's my favorite movie.
That was the best film that year. It was incredible.
That is hands down my favorite movie. And Mad Max. I thought Noah was underrated. I love Noah. And Edge of Tomorrow. I'm just thinking of movies I saw in the last 24 months that I liked a lot.
I haven't seen Noah yet, but I love Aronofsky so much. So I keep going to watch it, and people keep saying, you can't watch it, it's awful. But I'm like, it's Aronofsky, how bad can it be?
Aronofsky's a genius, in my opinion. I didn't finish Pi, but every other film...
Didn't finish Pi.
No, I didn't finish Pi, but his other films I loved. Yeah. Every time people go, I want something different from Hollywood, I'm like, well, Aronofsky's right fucking there, dude. Go watch his movies. I grew up Catholic, and I kind of moved away from all that at 18. And so I have a special knowledge of that stuff. And Noah breaks all that stuff, but also kind of fixes it at the same time. And he's atheist. Right. So it's interesting to see all these different things kind of come together. It's like the perfect movie to piss off the Bible Belt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People got very upset. Because don't they do it the voice of God comes from him eating something or something like that in the movie?
The voice of
God
God,
takes a potion or
God
something?
is never referenced directly in the movie.
Okay.
It's referred to as the creator. Okay. And you never hear the creator talk. But there's something in the middle of the movie that all atheists and people who believe in evolution would love. Okay. It's perfect. Okay. And it's like, whoa.
Is it a dinosaur?
You just got to watch the movie.
Okay.
It's a montage, and you're like, I cannot believe Aronofsky's got balls this big. It's a Bible movie, and he does this thing.
I kept being excited about it, and people just kept deflating me all the time, which is, I'm happy to hear someone likes it.
You're hanging out with the wrong people.
Yep.
Wrong people.
Oh, I love video games, obviously. So,
what's your favorite video games?
The last game I played intensely was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
And I played that 1.5 times.
1.5?
Because I got it. Well, what happened was I was dating someone at the time, and I got it pre-ordered with a graphics card for my PC. And but my girlfriend at the time bought me the special box set for PS4. Right. So I had 2 copies. I'm like, I don't want just the stuff. I need to use the software that came with it. So I beat it on PC, and then I played it halfway through on PS4. And then we broke up, so I stopped playing video games for a while.
Oh, man.
But the game is awesome. I love Metal Gear Solid 5.
Are you a PC Master Race person then, generally, if you play
Not
it?
at all. If I can get a console game on PC, I'll buy it on PC, just because the graphics are usually better.
Yep.
So... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Feel like I know a little bit more about you, particularly the sushi. What type of sushi do you like?
American sushi.
American sushi. Like California rolls.
I'm afraid of going to Japan because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat anything over there. Like, I like the dragon roll. They don't have the all this cool stuff that you eat over here is not in Japan.
Yep.
Seaweed's on the outside in Japan, and it's authentic. I'm like, I think I like the fake sushi.
I'm exactly the same.
What's a dragon roll? Just to
It's
check.
eel on
it's
top,
delicious.
California roll in the middle, and if you're bold, shrimp in the middle with the California roll.
No actual
Shrimp
dragon.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or caterpillar roll. What?
Oh, I love caterpillar.
No dragon then.
No
No,
dragon.
Oh, dragon rolls are awesome.
And avocado.
I had that exact experience because Japanese food's always been my favorite food in the world.
Yeah.
And then when I eventually went to Japan, like a year and a half ago, I don't eat pork.
These people don't know what they're doing.
No, but the food's spectacular. Don't get me wrong. Like Tokyo is some of the greatest food in the entire world, but
Yeah.
it's this thing, and it's 90% pork if you're eating meat.
Really?
Non-fish meat or fish, so those two things. So to get like a shrimp gyoza or something like that, it's like, no, that doesn't happen. Chicken gyoza it never happen. Vegetarian stuff, fucking forget it. And I eat a lot of vegetarian food a lot of the time.
Okay.
So I went over there and I was miserable because in Tokyo they also don't speak any English and there's no English on any menus. Not that they should, but it was just completely ostracizing because it's not even like letters you can understand,
Right.
Obviously. So I'd eat, and the only time we could order anything with having any clue what it was you either go to a bad restaurant where you got photos of everything all over it and you
Yeah.
point, or we had to have my friend there who's Japanese to help translate stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so hard for me to find anything that I could have. Everything came and it looked beautiful, and I was like, sure, if you like this thing, if you like weird intestinal stuff, and you like pork, then great. But
Did you eat at Jiro's restaurant? You know what Jiro is?
yeah.
Jiro
No,
dreams of
we
sushi?
didn't. We were going to go, and then we didn't. That's my story.
Damn,
good one.
dude. This is a whole Netflix movie about Jiro dreams of sushi. That's like that's the first thing I'm going to do when I get off.
The queues are
off
so
the
long
plane.
though to get into
Yeah.
that place. We did go to the place that was meant to invent. What's the type of ramen we go to in Koreatown? Well, not Koreatown actually.
Oh, Tsukemen.
Yeah, we went to the place that invented Tsukemen apparently.
No one drinks harder than Koreans, by the way.
Oh,
Just thought I'd throw that out there. I worked at a sushi restaurant years ago, and the chefs were Korean, and they took me to some backdoor restaurant in Koreatown, and they were drinking pretty fucking hard. I'm like, wow, I thought I knew like Asians that drink well, but the Koreans are
No, they
take
Next
the-
level.
in
Yeah.
Korea, they have the businessmen have because you're meant to drink at lunchtime a lot during meetings, so
Mm.
they actually create enzymes that you take that
God.
counteract the alcohol, so
Yeah.
you can basically not kill yourself
Yeah.
every day when you're doing work.
If you're ever in a drinking contest with an Irish Korean, just walk away. You're fucked.
All right, we're going to talk about some movies and some video games, which is rare. But first, let's have a little very quick catch me up. Alex, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? It's been a busy week, actually. I went up to San Francisco for a few days, but got a call back because of some good news.
You're pregnant.
I'm pregnant. Yeah, it's about 12 weeks. I did the x-ray myself. Yeah, there's
Any morning sickness?
ultrasound, mate. Yeah, lots of morning sickness.
Can
I did the
we
ultrasound myself. That's
Surgeon simulate your baby out of you when it comes to that time.
You can do whatever you want.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's my favorite sentence to come from anyone.
because it's your baby.
Oh, I am paying nothing.
Yeah. No, it's, you'll see when it has that.
Anything other
Rosy
than babies?
I booked a commercial.
All right.
Yay,
Booked
awesome.
a national commercial for Tide. I think I'm allowed to say that now.
Very nice.
Well, you just said it.
I just-
Yeah.
And I'm not bleeping it out.
If they didn't have you sign a waiver, you're okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Or an
I'm
NDA,
fine.
whatever it's called.
So we're shooting on Wednesday. Had my fitting today. Got to walk around in some nice cotton underpants.
Cotton.
Yep. Well, see, Adrian and I had this conversation in the car. I don't know if it's an Aussie thing, but we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're both Australian, just in case.
Yeah, we wear the boxer brief.
Don't tell them, sorry.
The brief, right? The boxer brief.
Brief, yeah. Not something that's fleeting, but a form of underwear.
yeah.
Just to
exactly.
clarify.
Wait. So
Yeah.
the boxer brief, that's the tighter one?
The tighter one.
Okay,
But you've
gotcha.
still got a bit of
Elastic.
room.
All right.
They're a little bit
I'm
longer, but
envisaging it
It's
in
kind
my
of like
brain
having
right now.
a like white front, but with a skirt around each leg.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, but it's wrapped around the thigh still.
It's
Yeah.
like muscular.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Well, like
Thank
you. It could be a mini
Muscular.
skirt.
So, but they didn't give me those. They gave me some like cotton boxers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like the ones you'd seen in Seinfeld or something.
Yeah, and I was very convinced that. Well, I wasn't convinced. I was almost positive that one pair that I tried for the fitting was see-through. The
You getting a little
It
short?
was a very, very low cotton thread count.
Fittings are always fun.
Yeah, so I was standing there and she's taking my photo, and then I went back into the change room and was like, "That's my junk."
There it is. Just staring back.
So and Adrian brought up a good point that like lucky I wasn't standing at a window with the sun shining through.
Maybe that's why they hired you.
But yeah, that's the highlight of my week. So yeah.
Is that your like most risque wardrobe experience?
No, I did a nude scene for Al.
I filmed him naked in the shower once.
Yep.
No wardrobe was needed.
No, but for like a commercial or
For a commercial, yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
That was
underpants.
just private use.
Yeah, no one's seen that footage.
I feel like you have a story. You
Sort of. It's a very short story.
Please.
I was basically there was like the head wardrobe lady, and then she has her assistants, and the assistant was trying to give me different jeans to wear, and so she gave me a set of jeans. All the clothes looked ridiculous, but then the main wardrobe lady came up and said, "Yeah, he can't wear these jeans." I'm like, "What's wrong with the jeans?" She's like, "You're showing." I was like, "Well, thank you."
Thank you.
I feel good.
Uncontainable.
Yeah. So that's the end of that story.
Adrian.
Oh yes,
That's your name. How's your
yes.
week?
My week
Your
was
second week. No, third. How many weeks you been now?
Second. Was my second week last
Second
week.
So it's your third week now. You're entering
in the third week. In the third
Third week of what? I'm sorry, I missed it.
in LA.
In
LA.
He's fresh.
In LA, I'm fresh as a daisy.
Oh, you've come to take our jobs, have you? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I have. That's not the only thing I'll take. You can read into that
You can take
however you wish.
See what, man? You can
Not
take
my friend's
You can take the
DVDs.
skateboards and the segways
That's right.
and the fucking hipsters.
The hipsters.
Take all of those.
Like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
I'll lead them
Lead
out
back
of
to
town.
Australia. Introduce those into the wild.
Great. Week was good. Found somewhere to live. You know, that's positive.
Helps.
I'm still working on a very basic scale. So I went to the shops. I bought some food and I've cooked dinner once or twice.
Nice.
But the main thing is I've found some digs that are relatively permanent. I had to clean it very well because it's sort of like a boarding house situation. I walked around for half an hour in bare feet in the house, and the soles of my feet were black
Yeah.
from the debris and dust in there. So I vacuumed today.
Nice.
You know, just small things. You know,
Is there anything that makes you apprehensive about shopping here?
sugar content in everything.
Yeah.
Particularly the fucking bread. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, well, and also that like, I don't know, things that like would be healthy back home, like almond milk, original flavor. You would assume there's no sugar in that. There's sugar in that. If it says original, that means what they came
Unsweetened.
up with.
Unsweetened is
original.
what you're looking for.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Unsweetened.
That's
Okay.
the key.
Okay. I'm sure they replace it with stevia.
They put the
or
sugar
something.
in and then they take it out again.
You know what I couldn't find in London? Toilet paper. Proper toilet paper. Soft,
You
nice toilet paper.
don't start me on this, sir. This is a continuing argument I have.
What?
Because
Really?
In England, we have so much variety of toilet paper, and over here you don't have
I
it.
couldn't find
So
any.
you get shea butter, you get aloe vera, and I fucking love it, and I miss it so much.
I
over
bought
here.
4 different kinds of toilet paper, my friend, and I could not one of them fit my butt very well. They were all hard as like they were like
You
paper.
just need the different versions of Andrex. That's what you need.
Adrex, yeah, that's a good brand.
Shea butter and aloe
3
vera.
ply, 4 ply.
We had one back home called Quilton.
Yeah.
And I think
You get
that
the- you get a
word,
nice
it's
quilted
almost-
Andrex.
Yeah, it's like
It's like a pillow for your butt.
put it in
onomatopoeic sort of.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of, you get a sense of the comfort.
You gotta
in
treat it right, because it's not going in.
Because it's like, you can't go scratching your ass. You got to be quilting your ass.
Yeah.
In Australia, do you add taxes
paper?
at the
Yeah.
till, or do you have taxes already in the price? Because that's something that even
Oh,
now
that's
for
so
years
annoying,
here
isn't it?
drives me fucking
Isn't it?
crazy.
Yeah.
So I just want to know how much the thing is.
Yeah.
And I will never fucking know how much something is.
No.
I like being able to get to a till and I can count out my exact change and I know I'm done and I'm out.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Let's just tell people how much things fucking cost. Why do you have to
Yeah,
hide
yeah.
it all the time? Just tell me.
Yeah, it's like, well, if we hide the tax, it's not really there.
It's not like it's varying tax.
I know.
Decided on proportion of size
Well,
of
we
foods.
just have the thing.
It's the same tax.
GST, 10% on all goods and services.
Why should I have to add it up?
Sorted.
You fucking add it up.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the signs when you first got here?
What type of signs?
Like I went to London and all the signs were small. Like they're just like it's hard to notice them.
Like
Oh, for
street
driving around,
signs?
you mean?
Well, just walking around, like the Starbucks sign is like this big. But in here in the States, it's like huge, so you can't fucking miss it when you're driving around.
Particularly in LA, because LA's really like a lot of strip malls, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and you have those fucking huge signs everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like when you drive through the deserts in America and you just see them all coming.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. On the freeways, you can see like the Denny's sign and McDonald's
Yeah.
and whatnot.
No, we
when
don't
I'm
do
walking around in London, I'm like, I don't know where anything is. Everything looks kind of the same because
Yeah.
the signs are so small. Like, how does anyone find Starbucks around here? Like, everyone would be caffeine deprived.
Discretion. We
Do
like
people
it.
go to Starbucks anywhere else in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
It's only Australia.
Just in Australia, we don't. Okay.
yeah. We
Have a coffee culture.
we killed it. We killed Starbucks.
You killed Starbucks.
Yeah,
You really?
yeah,
You got
we
rid of it.
Congrats.
They never took off.
There's like maybe one in Melbourne.
That's pretty cool.
In like Chinatown.
That's pretty cool.
Something.
Actually, in England, Cafe Nero is bigger than Starbucks.
Cafe Nero is really
Pret a
good.
manger.
Pret a manger. I remember when we first came to, together when we first came to America and we were in New York and there was a huge queue around the block. And I'm like, what's everyone, it must be something cool happening. And we turned around the corner and I was like, no, fucking Pret a manger is opening, which in England is like a Subway opening. There's just so many of them everywhere. And everyone's queuing up to get their free baguettes.
Yeah.
Very excited.
And we scoffed at them.
We did,
Went into that
in a
comfort
lordy European manner. Shara, how's your week?
Yes. I just came back from having a lovely weekend with my sister in Chicago. I'd never been to Chicago before.
Nice.
And that was really fun. And we had snow.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
ask. It was obviously
Yeah, it was
still
like
super cold.
it was well, when she got there like on the Monday and I got there on the Thursday morning and it was starting to get cold. But she said it was like 20 degrees Celsius because we don't do Fahrenheit. And then her colleagues were coming on the Saturday and they were like, oh, so we heard it might snow. And she was like, oh, guys, it's 20 degrees. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. And then they got there on Saturday and it was like snow in your face and the wind. It was like -1.
Shit.
Yeah, it was really cold. But I really enjoyed it because, living in LA, you don't get that.
Yep.
So that was exciting. And I ate a lot of donuts.
Oh, well done.
A lot of
Did
donuts.
you eat any deep dish pizza?
I did, but I
It's not
insisted
pizza.
that we
I know
have
it's
a
not.
deep dish pizza and it was really good.
Did
we
you
went
go
to
to one-
Illuminati's.
Someone on the fly? Yeah. Did you have it basically where it's not a fucking pizza, it's a quiche?
No, it was delicious. There was
like
I had
fucking
one
quiche.
with like sausage and tomato sauce
That's so quiche.
and cheese, but it wasn't too much cheese.
The depth
So-
of the crust.
was
is
Yeah,
what
delicious.
makes it-
Tamara had one when we were in Chicago, and we went to the place because Shannon came from, she went to uni
Yeah.
there in Chicago, so she was saying you got to go to this place to have the deep dish, the famous like deep dish thing, and we went there. I couldn't eat it. I literally couldn't eat it. It felt like when Rachel in Friends makes a tiramisu shepherd's pie sort of thing. It was
Oh,
like
wow,
that.
good
It was like
reference.
layers of roast beef with fucking this cheesy stuff underneath, and then tomatoes and like. And I was like, this tastes. I couldn't do it.
No, the one that we had was very good, and Belinda had one before from a different place, but this one was a place that her friend had recommended, and I was like, it's not that bad.
So, how are the donuts? I'm big on donuts.
Oh my god, the donuts were amazing. We went to this place called Fire Cakes.
Okay. Fire cakes.
On the recommendation of a friend who lives there, and I had a bacon pineapple donut.
You lost me at pineapple.
See, I don't.
You
I don't,
had me at pineapple.
Lost
It
me
was-
at bacon.
I don't do.
I
Yeah,
love
bacon.
everything.
No.
I also
Bacon
had a
maple
bacon
donuts.
Bloody Mary. Bacon is
Bacon Bloody Mary for sure.
amazing.
Achara's
Yeah, it was
favorite
delicious.
food is pig. So
I love pig.
I'm afraid though, Achara, you might have to take back what you just said because this podcast happens to be sponsored by Blue Star Donuts.
Blue Star Donut.
Really?
We're trying to get sponsorship from Blue Star Donuts.
So
Well,
it
I've
hasn't
never
happened yet.
tried Blue Star Donuts. If you want to send some free donuts my way,
Really?
then I will definitely give you a shout
Fucking
out.
insane, seriously. And when we went down from our last podcast, we had Jess and Nicola doing a little dance in there, which I put up on Twitter, and it's the most retweeted thing I've ever had on Twitter, which was kind of annoying. But there you go.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd retweet my this
Yeah.
podcast is fueled by Blue Star Donuts. Shameless plug.
We'll get there.
The best donut I ever had was in Austin, Texas. There's a random like hole in the wall place owned by a Korean couple. Closes at like 1:00 in the afternoon. They open early and close early, and it's called Donut 7. Hands down, the best donuts I've ever had.
What
in my
donut?
What
What
flavor?
kind?
I got all the flavors, whatever they were. It's like what happened was I started out with glaze. Glaze is like the standard,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you gotta start off with
When
that.
I tell you that I smiled after taking a bite, I am not lying to you. Like it made me so happy. I rushed back up to the counter and bought all the fucking donuts I could, and I just gobbled them all. And I'm like, why, dude? Why are your donuts so amazing? And the guy said that he goes around to all the donut places around the country that he can and tastes them and tries to figure out what's in them to make his donuts even better. So this guy's the fucking black belt of donuts. I kid you
crazy.
not. Donut 7
Wow.
if you're in Austin, Texas.
Plus the cocaine that you sprinkle.
Exactly.
That helps.
Yes.
What's it called again? Donut 7.
Donut 7. And there's no like weird gassy afterwards horrible feeling. It's like it just feels good going down and that's it.
Where in Texas, you say?
Austin.
In Austin.
Yes.
I'm going to ask, my assistant comes from there, so I'm going to find out if she's had any Donut 7 experience.
Yes.
How's your week been, Jaby?
It has been insane.
Yeah?
It's been, I mean, Achara knows all about it. I just crossed 100,000 subscribers, like I said. So that's been like my main thing. When people go, what are you up to? It's always the same answer. It's like, I'm shooting or I'm editing.
Yep.
The same exact thing. And I'm dating.
And you're dating.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I can't talk too much about that just yet, just because I don't want to like count my eggs before they hatch. But it's just been fun.
What's her name?
Yeah.
Where does she live?
She's very special.
Did she? Did you start dating after or before the 100,000 subscribers?
Before.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
But I'm sure it helps. Even on my even on my dating apps, it says on OkCupid, it says I'm a YouTuber, and I just crossed, and I always update it like I just crossed 75,000. I just crossed 90,000, so they can immediately go and look and see that I'm the shit.
No. But it's honestly true. Like we just met tonight, so and you seem like a really cool guy. So I hope I'm not offending anybody when I say this. But I had a conversation this week with a girl who I know, and she was talking about a lot of her bitchy friends that she hangs out with, and saying how loads of them won't date a guy because when they meet him, they'll go and check him out on Twitter and see how many followers he's got. And if he doesn't have enough followers, they won't date him.
Really?
That is terrible. That's horrible.
Yep.
Well, no one would date me then.
I've got 12 followers at the moment.
Undateable. Undateable.
And but that's within the space of a week, two weeks.
And surely it's also about the quality of the follower that influences.
Yeah.
Like,
If you just have Obama,
mainly people from like
Kevin
high
Smith.
school I haven't spoken to in like 12 years.
well,
I'm
But-
sorry, mate. You're undateable.
You know, really?
yeah, that's it.
But hey, that's why
Well-
there's always escorts.
That's the worst thing I've heard all week.
Yeah, it's
Twitter
horrible, isn't it?
followers.
I was saying these are people you shouldn't be friends with.
Well, I just learned of the term wags from Achara earlier today.
does that mean?
Taught him about
Wives
wags.
and girlfriends,
Right?
footballers and wags.
Yeah, wags.
Yeah, I mean,
I was telling her we should come up with a place for habs, husbands and boyfriends,
husbands and boyfriends.
so I can find a tall.
Because
sport-
otherwise,
sporty
it's not
lady.
an equal world. And that's just
Yes,
sexist.
exactly.
All right, let's do what we came here to do. Shall we? Talk about some stuff. Adrian, you're taking over this week. Hang on. I finished watching Daredevil this week.
No
How'd you
spoilers.
feel?
I haven't.
Have you finished it?
I finished season 2.
I started season 1.
I think season 1 is good with some great episodes. I think season 2 is great with some good episodes. That's basically my overall thing. I think the last episode got a little bit too comic booky, so I'm hoping they don't continue down that road. But I think it's the most organic.
You got a little.
The very last episode a little bit too comic booky.
Wait, did you finish Daredevil?
I haven't finished the second season yet. I'm like
Okay.
halfway through.
I preferred
You're not gonna watch it. If you haven't watched it by now, you're not gonna watch it.
I've watched a bit of it.
Okay. So then don't mind her, in my opinion. But Daredevil is my favorite Marvel adaptation.
Yep.
Hands down. I think it's the best comic book adaptation we've gotten ever.
Yep.
Because like it's the first show that gives me what I want, which is a superhero that has weaknesses. Like genuine weaknesses. He gets hurt. If you watch the episode 2 fight scene, he's constantly getting tired in the middle of the fight. I'm like, fucking yes, that's exactly what I want. It's someone who
And he's like a boxer in those things as well.
Yeah.
Like it's got real attrition to it. It's cool.
Right, and then like an episode or two after that, the whole episode Daredevil is on a couch, defeated. He's bruised up and beaten. I'm like, what? Where else would you see your superhero just destroyed for an entire episode?
Yep.
Nowhere else, just Daredevil. And so the chances it takes, I love, and I forget sometimes that it's a comic book show because you get caught up in the politics of everything going on in the
Well,
real
that's what I'm saying. I genuinely, so Daredevil's, he's my favorite comic book character in the world. So the only reason I'm nitpicky ever with it is because I'm that nitpicky, but I'm just so happy, to have a show that treats the character that well. Even if, like, the stuff I don't like with it, I'm just, majority of it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And I just feel it's the most, organic transition from episode 1, season 1 of just a dude who's basically a fucking, ruffian to the end of season 2. He's like, no spoilers or anything, but he's basically becoming a fucking superhero. He's starting to get to that point.
He becomes a superhero?
But he's getting to that point because with
Ow.
season 1,
Al, I'm episode 5, season 1.
stop
and-
it, Australia.
All right.
So, because Charlie Cox kept coming out and saying he wants to be in the Marvel, in the MCU, and he wants to be in Avengers and in Infinity War and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And in season 1, you're like, how do you do that? How do you get from there to it? And by the end of season 2, he could stand next to Spidey. He could stand next to Captain America. You know, he's not that fantastical yet, but they very organically push him to the point where he can jump off a building and you believe in it. You know, it's really.
Did you feel like season 2 was as strong as season 1?
I thought it was way better.
Really?
Way better.
Really? I need to watch it again because I it didn't hit me quite as hard as season 1 did.
Really?
Yeah, but I think that's just because of the freshness of season 1.
Right.
It's like I had not seen that before, and then I tried to go watch Jessica Jones, and I'm like, wow, this is garbage by comparison, because it's too much noir for me.
I disagree.
See, people love Jessica
Well,
Jones.
girls
I
in
couldn't get
particular
past the third episode. It was like, no thanks. It's too much. It's too like self-aware or something.
Right. Yeah, no, I can see that.
I on a serious note, I really enjoy the episodical nature, and I think it really like that format works really well for the comic book.
For Jessica Jones?
No. I just mean for like superheroes. I
You
mean like
like them as TV
way
shows.
more sense in movies,
Yeah.
because I'm like, this feels like a comic book. Each episode feels like contained to itself, but it's linking story through. It just feels right.
I think they echo different sides of it though, because the MCU works very coherently as comic books, but they're like one shots. They're this stuff where it's like picking up a graphic novel of one arc with the same artist and the same writer, and they all lead into other stuff. But you don't. It's like we were saying the other week, wasn't it? It's about the problem with DC is it seems to be you're gonna have to learn the other stuff to understand what's going on, not to appreciate it. And with Marvel, you can just appreciate it.
Yeah.
And with the TV stuff, I hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but like with the TV stuff, it's more like your monthly comics stuff. It's just this continuous feed where you can really get into the minutiae of it and cross-pollinate stuff.
Just to counter something that you said about DC and needing to know stuff to get it, I will echo my thoughts the other day. We don't need to know that Bruce Wayne's parents were killed.
I know, right? Isn't that
You've
fucking
seen
ridiculous?
that like a billion fucking
Did you not
times.
see?
Come on now.
I wanted to get the quote.
How many times do we need to see his origin story? Him and Spider-Man.
You see for like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It's
That's
too
true.
much.
And-
That's one.
Yeah,
That's
still.
Where's the quote? Because someone going to find it. Zack Snyder did a quote this week saying why it had to be in the film. Because people have been so upset about that. So see if you can find
Why?
it.
Because some people don't know what happened to Batman.
But this is the thing. Some people don't. This is the thing.
That's
You're
bullshit.
always forgetting that some people are new to everything.
That's bullshit.
Because there's too many fucking people having sex and more people being born all the time. So there's new generations who this will like when Nolan's Batman came out. That wasn't my generation Batman. My generation Batman was Michael Keaton. But for a lot of people, that was the first Batman film they ever saw was Batman Begins.
But okay, PG-13 films are viewed by pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Like 5-year-olds watch PG-13 films, right? There's no way they can't go back and watch The Dark Knight or the one Batman Begins, which only came out a few years beforehand. Like, it's there. It's on Target's shelves as soon as a new Batman movie comes out.
I know, but there's no reason why they have to, or you can presume that they have. That's the thing. Like that's how you have to think as a producer of this stuff. It's fine to see The Dark Knight Rises was 5 years ago, whatever it was, 4 years ago,
2012 or something.
2012.
2012. So yeah.
Okay, so
But Batman Begins was like 10 years ago.
Right.
So there's a whole generation of people where this will be their first Batman film.
And when did Batman Forever come in again?
I really hate this dude. Are you bringing him every week?
Did you see the Lego Batman trailer?
Yeah, I look fucking great.
It's amazing.
Enjoyed your reaction video.
Oh, thank you. I think it's amazing. Did you see the Lego Batman trailer?
I did, yeah. It
It's
was great.
amazing.
They're such good trailers as well, because when we were saying this last week, where you don't get content, you just get flavor. You get a feel for what it's going to be like, but you don't see the whole film in the trailer.
Yeah, but even in those bits, it's like you see it taking Batman tropes and turning it on its head.
Yeah.
Like him making his own food. You never see Batman make food.
Yeah.
Right? And he's just sitting there with the microwave. And the first thing when he touches the microwave and he's like, no, not 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking genius. And then he's enjoying the lobster. He's like, I deserve this.
Yeah.
Batman never says he deserves anything. So it's like the first time you see him actually enjoying what he does. I saved the world today. It was awesome. Like, yes.
You love he's all alone in this Batcave.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You got the quote, Alex?
yeah, no. So just to summarize, he explains that that we spend so much time with the Martha Clark relationship, so that pays off. So he wanted it.
Well, he needed.
He needed that moment where you see when we were shooting the title sequence, the whole idea, do we really need to see the death of the Waynes again? And he's like, you realize you need it because it actually pays off, and it's to help resonate that whole mother-son relationship. But it's so thin and I think so poorly done.
You could have easily seen it with a tombstone. And
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne standing over a tombstone, you didn't need that whole sequence. As soon as that sequence came on, I'm like, fuck this. This is garbage. Like,
One of the better shot bits of the film, though, because it kind of feels like Watchmen at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Shall we get to stuff? Adrian,
Yeah.
you're going to take over for games news this week. Do you want to kick us off with a little bit of
Yes.
Nate's Blowdown?
Nate's Blowdown.
Nate's what? Sorry.
Blowdown.
Nate's. I'm going to blow this down. All right.
That's literally how it happens. Isn't it?
1. Mass Effect Andromeda. A potential leak of upcoming BioWare game Mass Effect Andromeda hit the internet last week.
I will literally
Featuring
pay
a
you money
jetpack.
if you don't do voices.
Okay,
That's what we're getting to now.
Okay.
Every week, people do voices.
Well, I just thought it would be more compelling to the listeners.
you lost me as soon as you said Mass Effect. What happened? I'm just joking.
So, a potential leak of upcoming BioWare game Mass Effect Andromeda hit the internet last week, featuring a jetpack. That's right, a jetpack. It's said to be a video reel from a certain developer currently working on the game, and is potentially from a late 2014 build. I can't speak in my own accent.
That seems to be the new thing in first-person games now, is jetpacks.
Jetpacks.
Like Halo did that, and then Star Wars Battlefront did that, and now Mass Effect is doing it.
Yep.
And soon we'll have Rocketeer. The movie. All right. And the game is slated to release during the first quarter of 2017 after being delayed from its Christmas 2016 launch window. So, been waiting on that one a little while now. Number 2.
Wait.
What?
Jaby, you're not a Mass Effect fan?
I'm aware of the games. My sister plays them religiously because I was told Mass Effect's a good game, so I bought it for her because she's into those kinds of games, RPGs and whatnot, and she loves it. She went back and played the other ones, and she says it's a great game, and she lent it to me, and I still have not played it.
Yeah. Honestly, like I played the first one, I didn't like it at all. Second one I loved when it came out, and then the third one I couldn't really quite get through, and I went back to the second one afterwards and was like, this aged very badly very quickly.
So I watched a friend of mine playing it one time. I walked into the living room while he was playing, and there was like this weird sphere thing that he was moving around and manipulating, and I'm like, fuck this. It looked so time consuming. I'm like, I would like to play an actual game.
Oh yeah, that's when he's like mining on the planets. That's
Yeah.
number 2, I think. The best bit about it is when you go up to the deck of your ship and you get to choose where you want to go to in the universe, and you're on a planet and you zoom out and you see, the solar system, the galaxy, and then the solar system, and then nebulas, and then you just keep coming out and out and out, and you realize you can go to all these cool places, and the freedom of that's really, really cool.
That sounds stressful.
But we live in a year when No Man's Sky is coming out.
I can't wait for that game.
No Man's Sky, what is that?
No Man's Sky is like it's actually made by the developers of Joe Danger, but they made Joe Danger.
Joe Danger, the motorcycle game?
Yeah, but they made that so they could make the money to make the proper game they wanted to make, which is just you have an infinite universe, literally,
like
and
self-created
everyone's existing in it
almost.
together. Yeah, it's all randomly
Have you played
generated.
Joe Danger? It's a genius fucking game.
It is,
so
it is.
simple,
But
it's
they were very smart. They were just like, let's make a fun little game so we can make the money to make our big ambitious game.
Yeah.
And then this is it. And you basically, everyone exists in this world at the same time,
yeah.
or the universe, and you're all trying to get to the center of the universe because there's something there. But in order to do it, you have to kind of investigate planets and upgrade your ship and stuff like that because you can't just go there. You have to keep going from place to place. But what's awesome about it is they're literally infinite planets, basically. And when you find stuff, you get to name it and claim it as your species, your plants, your planet.
Yeah.
And there's
Like
no
the
load
British.
screens. So as you go from out of a planet, you got to bring your flags with you.
That picked up in my brain a few seconds later.
But what's awesome about it is so you get in your ship on a planet and you take off and there's no load screens. You just go through the atmosphere and you go into space, and then you're flying through space and you fly into another planet, just land on it, and you can just keep hopping from planet to planet.
Wow.
It's awesome.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, and I was reading that the planet you start on will forever say that it was discovered by you.
Oh,
So
nice.
you all individual you.
Because that's my
all
worry, is the
start on unique
stressfulness of
planets.
everyone's just rushing around
Yeah.
trying to. Because it's fucking the internet. Everyone will have claimed everything. Even if it's infinite, they'll have claimed everything.
Yeah,
Is
so
this a
it's-
console game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's PS4,
PS4.
only, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is there an option to build a Death Star or something if you wanted to take planets away from your friends?
No. What's next?
Number 2.
Number 2.
Hyperlight Drifter. Hyper Light Drifter came out on PC, Mac, and Linux last week and is heading to PS4, PS Vita, and Xbox One mid-2016.
PS Vita's still around?
Still alive.
Okay.
I know. Tell me about it, right? Developed Heart Machine. What does that mean? Developed Heart Machine. It's a homage to 8-bit and 16-bit games combining Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Diablo. Originally funded through Kickstarter for $27,000, but ending up with over $600,000. That's $600,000. Just over half. That's $500,000?
Just over $500,000.
Just over $500,000. Expanding to consoles and handheld. So that one didn't make heaps of sense to me. If you wanted to clarify that, Al?
It's a beautiful looking game, basically, because it's just come out on PC, people play it, and it looks gorgeous.
And it's going to go to everything, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that extra money, it's weird because it sounds like they still made the basic game for basically $30,000, but they've got hundreds of other $1,000, which they're saying they were using to get it to all the consoles. I'm fairly sure some of that money probably was pocketed because you don't need that much money to convert it to everything else. But it's a beautiful game, so I'm very happy for them.
Do you remember when The Last of Us came to PS4?
Yes.
How did you feel about that? Didn't you feel cheated just a little bit? They were charging full fucking price for that game.
For The Last of Us?
The Last of Us. Because it came out on PS3. And
Right.
then 1 year later, it comes out on PS4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was really quick. There's no way they just decided, no, let's make this for PS4. It's like they had it in the works for a while.
Yeah. But I think it just took them longer to kind of, no, I think that's definitely strategy with that. Uncharted came out almost the same time on PS4, didn't it? The collection as The Last of Us, I think. Same sort of pocket window.
Yeah, but it seemed very egregious that...
Yeah.
It's like they knew what they were doing.
But it's one of those things of kind of the majority... At that point, when that came out, PS4 obviously has been doing great out the gate, but it's, ownership levels compared to PS3, drastically different. So the majority of people who had a PS3 wanted to play the game. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't really mind, like, the upgrades of games coming to PS4 or Xbox
Remastered.
One.
Yeah.
I don't really mind them too much. It's basically one of those things, if you don't want them, don't buy them. Like, you still have the old versions of the games.
Right.
But...
I just feel like there should be like a coupon code or something. Like
Yeah.
I have the old copy.
I agree with that. If you have an old
cheaper?
one, I think that was the thing of if they had the foresight and they really did know they're going to do that, that's something you should definitely chuck in. Some sort of code you can put in and get half price at least or something like that.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to derail anything.
No,
Just remastered.
Conversational podcast. So if you want to talk about pig farming, whatever you want.
I'm going to have a lolly.
What?
Oh, here's a question for you. Are you all gamers? Yes.
Yes.
I play. I am, but I only play about 3 games.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty much.
Pac-Man.
No. Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim.
I'm noticing a theme.
Yeah. Also, what's that one when it's post-apocalyptic made by Bethesda? Fallout. Yeah. Both of
It's
those.
good that you know the
So
games
all
that you play.
Bethesda games.
So,
but pretty much.
here's my question, because a lot of games coming out for PS4 and even Xbox One are still coming at 30 frames.
Yeah.
Would you, if you had the choice as a developer, would you choose 720p and 60 frames or 1080p and 30 frames?
I think it completely depends. I'm actually just getting into game development now, so we're thinking about stuff like this.
Yeah.
I think it completely depends on what your game is. If you're talking about a Twitch-based game, if you're talking about anything to do with, when I say racing, I don't mean it has to be a racing game, but something where you got that fluidity of movement.
Yeah.
Chard, what the fuck is happening?
Get it out. God damn it.
Yeah, if you're doing something like that where you need that fluidity,
Yeah.
then the frame rate I think is more important. But 30 frames is a fantastically smooth frame rate. I don't have a problem with that unless you're doing something which is Twitch based. It's like if you're doing online multiplayer shooters or something, you feel the difference with 60 frames, absolutely. Particularly at competitive.
Well, I'm a big Infamous fan. Infamous 2 is my favorite game of all time.
Really?
Infamous 2, yeah.
Are you sure about that?
You didn't get into it?
You sure?
You didn't get into
it's fine.
Infamous?
It's fine.
Oh, I love Infamous 2. The ability to be in a Grand Theft Auto-like world, but choose whether you're a superhero or a villain, that sounds awesome to me any day of the week. But Infamous Second Son came in at 30 frames, 1080p, and I was pissed. I'm like, why?
Seriously?
You can't tell the difference between 720p and 1080p in most
I
cases.
can. I'm the opposite. I can tell the difference in the
Well, you have a
resolution.
huge TV. That's a little different.
All games look shit on that. That's the
Most people can't see the difference. And so I feel like if they came in at 720p or 900p and made it 60 frames instead, that would have been a much more fun game. Because when you're playing these things for 80 hours on end, 60 frames is very helpful to the eyes, I think.
Right.
For me.
I think that's the thing. Like, yeah, I've met people, frame rate, if it dips under 30 will bother me. And I can tell when it's 60. But most of the time I'm very happy at 30 because that's just, I personally would rather more resolution. But I know people who get really upset when the frame rate dips below. Yeah. So I think it just depends what your eyes used to kind of
That's
thing.
why I'm always trying to get my console games on PC. Right. So I can fucking choose my frame rate. Goddamn.
So I would rather like I'm very interested with this PS4K whatever that's coming out next year or whatever, or looks like it's coming out. What that frame rate is going to be like. You know?
What is it? This is the first I'm hearing about this.
There's a whole bunch of rumors, but it's been about 4 over the last 2 weeks. So it looks like it's definitely happening, and it's a PS4K essentially. So
like 1.5 kind of thing.
Sort of, but they're saying it'll have some more power in it, but most of that power looks like it's going to be used so it can have 4K imagery basically. Okay. So it won't be 1080p anymore. It'll be on 4K.
Wait, how will that affect older games?
But that's the thing. No clue how that stuff is going to work because you don't want to split your audience obviously with, hey, this is a 4K game. They have to figure out a way if you're playing the game in that console basically, or just boost it. Yeah, there has to be. Otherwise, it's stupid. But yeah, I'm interested with that if that's going to be a thing of, hey, the old games will run at 60 and 4K if you put them in this console. You
know who needs a 1.5 is Xbox. They really need it because the Xbox does not perform as well as the PS4 by a long shot. Mm-hmm. It's like everything is running at a lower frame rate or lower resolution. And
just the layman out there, like myself, when we're talking about frame rate, are we talking about like the pace of the game and how whether it lags or whether you skip
like
skip an image or
movies come in at 24 frames a second, generally exactly. Speaking, and so
like
games on average are 30 frames a second. But today games are more powerful where they can be at 60 frames a second. And what you get is just a much smoother image. You ever see that smeary look with motion flow on TVs?
Sure.
That looks like crap for movies, but it looks great for video games.
Right.
And so 60 frames per second affords you that, but a lot of developers are still catering to higher resolution instead of higher frame rate.
Yeah. So they're like still in the film world almost with the way they're approaching.
Well, it's just because the frame rate with no disrespect, but to the majority of people, it only matters if you're competitive. Really, like that's how most people like see it. Is that it's very important for if you're doing something.
I feel like it's black. Once you go black, you can't go back. It's like once you go 60 frames, you cannot go back to 30.
Sure.
You just can't.
But that's what I mean. Like honestly, I just find it fascinating because I am the opposite. Like for me, it's like once I've done stuff at 1080, I don't want to do stuff at 720.
So there you go. There you go. Same thing.
Yeah. What else? How many?
Well, I do believe we're up to number 3.
It's going to be a 3-hour podcast.
So Final Fantasy 15.
I'll shut up.
At last week's Square Enix event, did I pronounce that right? Enix?
Enix, Square Enix. Sure.
Yeah, Square Enix.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's going to correct you.
At last week's Square Enix event, they finally revealed the release date of Final Fantasy 15, which is September 30th of this year. The game will hit PS4 and Xbox.
Xbone.
Did I pronounce that right? Xbox?
Xbone.
No? Okay. We pronounce things differently back home. Will hit PS4 and Xbox One. They also revealed a special demo that was available.
How are you reading this?
This is happening to me too. Justin, he laughs, I laugh. It's the sentence structure.
Sentences are hard.
The game will hit PS4 and Xbox One. They also revealed a special demo that was available immediately on both consoles called Final Fantasy 15 Platinum.
Yes, this was a big event this week. It was kind of the focus point of the game world. And they finally announced when Final Fantasy 15 was coming out because no one actually believed it was ever going to actually be released, and surprised everyone with a whole bunch of cool stuff, which we'll get to in the movie news as well because they did some stuff to do with movies.
Any of you guys see the Final Fantasy 7 movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. Have you seen it?
The Advent Children one.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
When did you watch it?
Wait, do you mean the animation one?
The
they
animation
did?
one.
Like 10 years ago.
You're talking about Spirits Within.
I don't know. I'm talking about the one where it's like everybody freaked out.
Advent Children. It was amazing. It was amazing looking at the very least. Like every single frame is beautiful in that movie.
Yeah,
every single one. Like if you're an artist or you're into cool framing as a director, Final Fantasy Advent Children.
I remember when one Final Fantasy film came out and all the actors started going, "Oh no, they're going to replace actors." Oh,
that was the Spirits Within.
That's that one. Okay.
Which happens.
We're still here.
You don't get actors dressing up as Godzilla anymore, do you? These fucking CG kids come in and take over. So they had a point.
They still do it in Japan, though, in the Godzilla films, don't they?
Yeah, well, they're doing their new one this year as a retaliation to Gareth Edwards' one. Whenever America makes a new Godzilla film, Japan goes, fuck you guys. We're doing this again.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone's very excited. Final Fantasy. The demo went straight up. People are playing. I haven't played this yet, actually. I've got it downloaded, ready to play. You have a little pet thing. Looks kind of cute. I'm not really a Final Fantasy
I like the
fan.
commercials a lot. Whenever there's a Final Fantasy commercial, it's like, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Never touching the game, though. It's too long. It's like 120 hours plus, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The games are always long.
They used to be always fucking turn-based battles, which I don't like turn-based battles. And they used to be randomized turn-based battles, which was even worse, where it's like, oh, I'm just walking along, and then you fucking
No, you're
scream
not.
into
Or
a battle.
your screen like spins around
Yeah.
into pixels, and you're like, fuck, now I'm in a fight.
I'm like, fuck this game.
All right. Next piece, number 4.
4.
Hitman. Episode 2 of the IO Interactive's Hitman will be released on April 26th for PS4 and Xbox One and PC. It was announced via a simple trailer/postcard. The episode takes Agent 47 to the fictional Italian coastal town of Sapienza.
Sapienza.
Yeah, I'm liking the first Hitman, but like we said, the episodic content is pissing me off because I want to jump around all these places and do different things, and instead I just have to keep replaying the same level again and again.
I lost a lot of momentum with that because, and I don't know if this was my internet connection or the game was glitchy, but I just kept getting disconnected over and over
Really?
again. Like it kept disconnecting from the server, so then it would go back to the main menu and then I'd have to start the mission again. And this happened maybe 4 or 5 times.
Sounds like user error.
And so
Just play it offline. You got a physical version.
they wrecked it. I'm not playing
You
it
got a
anymore.
physical version or is it download?
Download.
So you got to play online. Stupid modern generation. I don't know. I haven't had any problems with mine, but I'm on disc. I think.
Oh, and as a
No,
footnote,
I'm not on disc. It's not out. That's what I'm talking about.
As a footnote, I missed the next paragraph. It's the second of 6 digital-only Hitman episodes, which will continue with levels set in Marrakesh, Thailand, the US, and Japan. A disc release version will come out in January 2017.
That's next year.
That is next year.
Genuinely, I would say for people who are interested in Hitman, you're probably going to go and buy it, but I would say wait till the disc because for me, that would be the better way to play this game.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people who will want to be on top of the content as it comes out, I guess, so that's part of the thing.
Yep.
That's why they do it, I guess.
I'll be interested also when it comes out on disc because that's quite a long time after everything's been out if it's going to cost regular price or if it'll be like $40 or something.
Sure,
I bet
sure.
they'll add a bunch of new stuff.
You reckon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
costumes, new costumes or something.
We'll give him lots of hair.
It kind of
Just give 'em like a
amazes me
Master
that
Chief
they sell skins. That
Yeah.
that blows my mind. For $10, you get skins.
You remember the great
Yeah,
old
yeah.
days in the 360 era where you would get achievements and they would give you skins for like games or stuff for your avatar or like you could earn stuff for achievements?
I remember blowing in
why
the
am I not doing
cartridge. But
Just
I was
up-
gonna ask you guys, how do you feel about this movement towards discless games, like all being downloaded, and they're still charging the same exact price? It's like $60 to download a game. Like they don't have to pay for the cover art, they don't have to pay for the covers, they don't have to pay for the discs. The overhead is gone.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's the way of the digital age, isn't it? I mean, I feel the same way about music. I hate paying for music on iTunes.
MP3s.
MP3s, yeah, because
They
of
sound like
the
shit.
content's
But-
not good, like the
Wait,
actual
wait,
quality
wait.
of it.
But on
also,
iTunes, you can pick to buy higher quality. You don't have to do MP3. That's a
yeah, no. But
you
I
can
mean,
buy, you can buy
but
AIFF.
yeah.
I also just mean having like the physical object, because that's part of the joy of like all the collecting side of games and books and
Yeah.
anything really. I mean, that's why I like vinyl. I buy vinyl because I get usually a digital coupon that I can go online, download the album. I've got my digital copy, but I've also got this awesome hard copy version as well.
Video games don't even come with player manuals anymore.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
I used to love the manual when I was a kid on my
Yeah.
PC.
The CD cases the jewel cases are being made even cheaper now. I bought Justice, their CD recently, and the thing fell apart on me in like 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's why no one buys CDs anymore.
Yeah, all the little things in the middle just crumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about it quite a lot. I'm a collector, obviously. Like I like physical things, and
I didn't notice.
my real home's in England. I've got like 6,000 Blu-rays and stuff there.
Oh my God.
And unfortunately, I can't have them shipped over here because it's just too much. But so I love physical things. That's my personal preference. I 100% understand the digital world. It makes more sense for everybody involved. Stuff can be day and day. It's cheaper for every single facet of the industry. It's easier for consumers to dip in and out of stuff. You could rent stuff easier. It's better for the environment. I understand the complete argument. It's just not as interesting to me. I like physical relationships with my media. That's just me.
But you also can't resell.
Well, they're now working so that you can resell. This is a new thing they're doing. But basically, they're just telling themselves, this could be a long conversation, one for hours and hours. But they're just telling us it's a mess, basically. And the problem is you buy your stuff off iTunes digitally. It doesn't cost as much as buying a CD. But you buy a game and it does cost as much as buying a physical game. And it's bullshit. But anytime they've tried to bring those prices down, all physical places like Walmart and anywhere that sells the stuff, so we won't stock you anymore. And they threatened them before and releases the Gears of War. Like, if you bring your fucking prices down digitally, we will not stock you anymore. So they can't cut off physical media yet. Like, they want to. The games industry will be so happy when everyone actually has the internet speeds that they can just go to digital, and then the prices will come right down, like straight away. But their problem is they're constantly pushing, and we're talking about this all the time. This generation of consoles is fucking bullshit because it's a generation of consoles where they're trying to become PCs, and you have PCs trying to become consoles.
Yeah.
And
Alienware.
yeah, and you like every time Xbox goes down for a day, guess what? I can't play any of my digital games because you have to be online to be able to fucking verify.
Exactly.
You have problems like Alex had with Hitman. You never used to have any of these fucking problems with anything. Yeah. And in my opinion, and I don't want to open this door because there's a lot of reasons why they don't do it, but they're not good enough for me.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, when you buy your physical copy of your video game, you get a fucking code to download it as well. Yeah. So you can enjoy that however you want to. And I feel everything, whether it's a Blu-ray, and they all do come with digital codes, and a DVD sometimes, or if it's music, or if it's a fucking game, you should get both. Because like you're saying, the digital costs them basically nothing. Yeah. And you should fucking give that away. And if you're worried about people having two copies of something, tie it into their fucking avatar name. I don't care. Because if people really want to share something enough, they'll find a way. Yeah. It really pisses me off.
Yeah. I was proposing at least having the Amiibo technology that it's like NFC or something like that, or near field communicator or whatever. I was proposing at least having a little square thing with a near field communicator that says this is your game. Yeah. Something like that. So it's like at least you feel like you own something that has a manual or whatever. Like for some reason I'm old school, I guess, because I like the physical media like you. Yeah. I don't know.
I love it, but they keep finding new ways to make consoles more complicated. And the only reason people buy consoles and rather than a PC is because they don't want complicated.
Yeah, because they want it simple.
Yeah. And it's
they want plug and play,
Exactly.
That's gone.
But it's totally not that at all.
No, definitely not. I tried to sign into Xbox for the first time the other day, and it took me like 40 minutes because I had to download this and do this, and it had to update that. And
try having a 2-player game go. Like you have your friend come over, and you want to play a 2-player game. Oh, they have to have a Microsoft account, and then they have to create a character and an avatar,
and then they have to log into their email so they can verify their account.
And that never fucking works. I'm like, let's just dust off the Super Nintendo and play Street Fighter again.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
It really is. And the fact that this generation of consoles are selling better than any generation is actually disappointing for me because I want people to vote with their wallets and tell them this is bullshit. You can't do this again because they'll just keep doing it.
Oh, it's just good marketing, man. I mean, just looking at the Xbox One box, I want it. And I know it's not a good system compared to PS4, but it's like, I have it. I bought it because the colors are pretty. Because the box looks so nice. The PS4 box looks nice. But you compare PS4 and PS3 side by side, it's a marginal improvement. Whereas every generation before has like a quadruple improvement. Yeah. Right? Like Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64, there's a clear fucking difference there. And we don't see that that clear delineation anymore. Now it's like you could be watching either one and it might get confusing. Yeah. It pisses me off. They didn't do as well as they could have, like you're saying.
No, I agree. What's your last piece of news?
Last piece of news is number 5. Far Cry Primal. There's a free update to Far Cry Primal coming that includes a new mode of play called Survival. Thomas Simon, director of the game, had this to say. The keystone of that survival mode is the change in the exploration, crafting, and difficulty of the game to make it even more realistic. After that, there are options the player can activate to go further. Takar can... Takar... Oh, right, sorry. Takar can no longer call his owl. He'll get cold without proper gear. The beasts you are controlling will be less powerful. Taming the bigger beasts will also be far more difficult, and once any of his friends are dead, they're gone for good. The mode also gets rid of the map, gives Takar a stamina gauge, and there's optional permadeath.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, anyone who wants to play this game like that, fucking crazy.
While we're talking about Far Cry, is that the game where they had the white-looking guy in a chair, and then there was a black-looking guy below him and he had his hand on his head, so it looked like a slave?
Oh, yeah. Those are the first posters for Far Cry 4.
And it turned out, did you guys hear about this?
No.
The early covers, it looked like it was basically an Aryan guy with a slave.
Yeah.
And the internet erupted in an uproar about it.
See if I can find it.
But it turned out that wasn't even the case at all. It's like their ethnicity was actually really close to each other.
Yeah.
But they caved and they changed the cover.
Yep.
How did you feel about that?
Interestingly, we were just
We were
talking
just
about
discussing
this.
something like this earlier.
Yeah, just when we're on the couch playing some Rocket League.
Okay.
Again, another big door to go through. You're asking very good questions. So.
Okay, cool.
No, it's something that's driving me crazy. It's the modern, we just had a poster for Overwatch, I think, came out this week with a girl's butt, and people went crazy about it, so they changed it.
For which one?
Overwatch.
Okay.
And
I was about to say, well, there's the Spider-Woman cover, and people
Yep.
got angry about it. And then the cover with Joker holding a girl and like a gun to her or something like that.
yeah,
She was
gun to her
crying.
head. Yeah.
And they changed the cover.
I am, and this is a problem because I tend to do my arguments on here where I'm aware of the time, so I truncate them down, and I think I come across like a chauvinistic asshole, basically. I'm not a fan of what's happening, which is basically social media getting involved with creators while they're still creating, and creators listening to that and censoring themselves.
Yeah.
I'm basically a fan of you make the content you want to make. If we don't like it, we won't watch it, we won't play it, we won't read it.
Yeah.
And if that happens enough, you probably won't get to do that anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know, but I don't like that spinelessness, and I don't like the fact. I understand why they do it. It's very hard not to listen when the whole fucking internet blows up on something and starts screaming at you. It's like you're pressurized to. Well, everyone's looking at us now. We have to do.
You got
something.
investors looking at that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I get it, but that's this terrifying world for me, where that's where the power is going to come from people shouting about stuff.
Yeah.
Because the example I was using later is dumb, but it's stuff like no one came up to Leonardo and said, you know what, Mona Lisa would look better if she's unhappy. And he was like, oh, all right, then I'll do that. It's like, no, you fucking do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not comparing any of these things to the Mona Lisa, but your vision's your vision, and you should have a vision, or you shouldn't be making something.
Yeah. What I find is that people say they want something, but they don't actually want it.
Yeah.
Like when they get it. There was this fan trailer that came out not too long ago. I think it was like 2 years ago, where they took all these different superhero movies and meshed it into one trailer. And I do trailer reactions on my channel, and they were telling me to look at it. And I watched it, and I'm like, you don't actually want that movie. Like, you think you do because it sounds so cool having all the superheroes in one film. But as soon as you do that, it's convoluted, it's fucked. Because, like, there's no story anymore. It's just a bunch of gods killing each other, essentially, for 90 minutes. That's not interesting to watch. That's what, you know, a bad Zack Snyder movie is going to look like, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we just watched two, superheroes try and kill each other, and that was awful.
And that's just two.
Yeah.
That's just two superheroes. You know, so people don't actually know what they want. That's the one thing I give Apple credit for, I guess, is
Yeah.
You know.
I agree completely.
I think yeah, like you should stick by your guns, but one is you have to assume that the guns they're sticking by is something that they've creatively thought out, have considered, and that's what we want, and they should stick by it at that point, definitely. But like I said, I think lazy creation or unthinking propagation of images and ideas and themes should be tackled by the community. I think so,
but it should be tackled by the community on the output. That's my point. It's like, yeah, it will be. I'm not trying to say. So what was the example you used?
The Batman cover with Joker holding that girl hostage.
What was the first one you used?
The Far Cry cover.
The Far Cry cover. Yeah, I'm not trying to say whether that's right or wrong, at all, or if that's appropriate imagery or whatever. I'm just saying the vote on that comes when it's out. It shouldn't fucking come as a thing.
And it definitely should, because they could have been making a comment about a specific character within the game and the storyline, yada yada yada. But I guess they don't get a chance to have that comment, or to even to give that little bit of information through their cover anymore, because everybody went, you can't do that.
Yeah. And plus with that one in particular that you're talking about, Jaby, I was really reminded of that South Park episode quite early on where they have a flag that the kids get to design, and there's all like these different color people. Are they hanging or something really offensive, and all these white people, and it all goes to court, and it becomes this huge thing. And at the end, they realize, because they can't understand why the kids don't feel bad about this, and at the end, it's because the kids are so unracist, they don't notice colors of anyone. So who was doing what was completely unrelative to them, because it didn't. It's like, well, everyone's just people. Like, why would we worry if someone was doing this thing and this and this and this?
Right.
And it's purely this kind of paranoid society of like trying to be ultra PC with everything, which again we're talking about, like terrifies me, because you're going to create content which is just trying to be
Or bland, for one.
it's just going to be PC content which isn't real.
Right.
Because the world isn't PC.
Well, the overarching problem is just how when people all come together out of fear and change the way something is. Like the initial stages of Xbox One had the same exact thing, where it was going to be diskless and internet always.
Yeah.
You always
could
had to
not
have,
play a game unless you're internet.
Yeah, and like people screamed and shouted about it, and so they completely revamped the system, and there are clearly problems.
But that's and that's the thing. It's like I was one of those people. Like, so you know, I get it. Like I really do. I shouted about it. I was happy when they changed it because I like Xbox.
Yeah.
If they hadn't, guess what? I wouldn't have bought the Xbox. I genuinely, that was one thing when they announced that. I'm a huge Xbox guy. I love all consoles. I own them all anyway. But like, that's my place where I play my video games. And
Do you feel like it was a good thing that your voice was heard?
No, but this is the thing. Like when they announced that, it's a good thing for them. Sure. For me, it doesn't really matter, because if they had decided to do that, that was the one thing they said, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm out. Yeah. Like I think I'm genuinely out, and nothing really. I didn't think they could say anything that would get me out, because I don't really care as long as I get to play my games and I keep having my achievements. Some of my friends are there. I don't care. And at that point, I was like, I'm not going to do that, because I find that offensive personally. Yeah. So I'm going to vote with my wallet, and I wouldn't have bought it, and I would be purely a PS4 guy now. How different would my life be? Not really. How different would their lives be? Pretty big if everyone had made that same decision, you know? Yeah. So I get it as a business thing, why you have to react and listen to everyone shouting. I just think it's a dangerous path that we're kind of heading down, and where that'll lead to. Right. Is that the end of the game news?
Number 6.
I'm jumping in number 6.
Over to you, Al.
Thank you. Thanks.
No, I've written that now.
6 to Al.
We're having a good long podcast here, so I don't want to truncate our conversations, because I like the conversations.
No.
So this one might just go through way quicker than we're intending originally.
I don't know. I've got some pretty strong feelings.
Yeah, feelings
about certain games.
So we are now a quarter of the way through the year, which is crazy. We just moved into April. So people are already looking at because a lot of video games came out in the first 3 months of this year, and people are already looking at what stuff is going to be in contention to add to that list for best games of the year. I'm going to read through the big names really quickly, and I just want people to jump in if they got something to say of like, yep, that's going to be on my list, you know, for later on in the year as one of the best games of the year, or if something, you know, really disappointed you, Alex. Far Cry Primal, we just talked about. I really enjoyed that game. It's not going to be on my list.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Enjoy it, but no, it's far too thin of a game to make any end-of-year list.
Firewatch. It's definitely going to be on my list. I probably liked it the least, but it's definitely going to be on my list just because
you're going to put it on this immediate list or potentially end of year?
Well, at the moment, I don't know what else is going to happen. But for like right now, that's one where I will put that down and I'll remember that one at the end of the year to look back at.
Yeah, I agree.
Most of these games I'm not familiar with at all.
You should play Firewatch, man. On PS4, it's beautiful. I
haven't played Far Cry at all.
I see a game that I'm interested in.
Say it.
Well, wait till we get there.
No, don't say it.
Oxenfree.
Never played it.
No.
Don't know it.
I haven't played it. No, I have actually played it.
Sounds like a laundry detergent.
I played it for a couple of hours.
Is it sort of a world, maybe like a sandbox thing, but there's no cows? Or?
Yeah.
I confirm there are no cows.
Are you making a funny right now, or are you serious? I can't tell.
Oxen free.
It's very deadpan.
Because there's no...
Yeah.
So
very good.
There's a lot of people's... Some people, this is their favorite game of the year, and they're saying nothing will be able to beat it. I really liked it. It's got a cool story to it. It's got a very nice art style.
What type of game were you talking about here?
You're talking about a kind of Monkey Island-y sort of game. Sort of, but far less puzzles and more just kind of chatting. And it's kind of like if you took Monkey Island and crossed it with Life is Strange.
Are you saying it's a point-and-click game, Al?
You control it with your analog stick, but it works in a similar kind of frame.
I'm in.
I like it. On the list,
I don't like
Alex?
It's going on my to-play list.
The Witness.
Is this an adaptation of the Harrison Ford film?
I really hope so.
Yes. No, The Witness is the new game by Jonathan Blow, who did Braid. And he spent 8 years of his life and all of his money that he made from Braid making this game.
Braid was an amazing game from what I understand.
Yes. This is my favorite game of this generation. I mean, 100%.
The Witness?
The Witness, yeah.
All right, I'm circling that one.
Yeah, I didn't quite
bold
commit to the
statement.
number of hours that you did, Al, so I never ended up getting that
Yeah, take it.
that experience. I think I think because I remember you sort of saying that you described it as like, you know, you're getting to points where you hit a wall and you want to throw the game away, but then you and Katie were playing it, and there's bits where it would suddenly drag you in, but then the emotions that the puzzles, like the emotions they evoked and that world, like I never got that far where I had such a...
No, you have to commit serious time, and you have to be in a certain frame of mind. I was lucky when this came out. I was in Colorado for a couple of weeks, and we were snowed in for a week. So I was just writing a screenplay and playing this game. And it's a seriously fucking hard game. It's just a puzzle game. But when you first play
like
it,
Myst or something.
it's exactly like Myst. It's actually like Myst is a very purposeful throwback for what this is. But rather than the puzzles being randomized and different like in Myst, this is all one type of puzzle. And what Jonathan Blow likes to do is take that one little concept, like with Brady took time travel, where this is it's basically a maze puzzle. And then he likes to see how far can you push that? How many interesting things can you do with that? And you can appreciate it just like that for the first few hours and just be, okay, well, it's a beautiful island. I'll wander around and do these puzzles. Some are fucking ludicrously hard and make me want to destroy my TV. But it's when you begin to push through that and you begin to never look at the guide. You know, one of my stories was we're stuck on something for 4 hours, and I was doing it with someone else, which I definitely find helpful because you need two perspectives. The whole game is about perspective in many ways, metaphorical and everything. We spent 4 to 5 hours, couldn't do this fucking puzzle. And so many times you reach that point of like, this is it, I'm done with this game now. I can't do this and I'm done with it. And you walk away and then you go and do something. And then I came to the fridge and I just glanced at the TV because it's still on. Second you look at it, just get it immediately. You just needed to like get away, get a new fresh perspective.
Get drunk,
whatever it takes.
Like Candy Crush.
This does not sound fun at all to me.
No, it's attrition. It's real attrition. But the further you go through it as well, then there's this barrier. If you start to realize, every single thing. Because my initial problems with the game was, I can't interact with the island. I can't pick up certain things. Like, why can't I? Because there's nothing else to do. It's because everything's there for a reason. So every single tree in this game, every rock means something. And they create patterns and they create environmental puzzles, which are incredibly smart, depending on where your perspective is. So it'll be things, if you line up this little thing and this thing with the perspective of them, they will join and become something else.
I feel like you've just sort of become Matthew McConaughey in Contact, that film.
That's what I was channeling. No, honestly, it's a game that is not for everyone. It requires a lot of patience. And I didn't, I really liked it for the first sort of 4 hours. But I played about 50 hours of this game. I'm not quite at the end of it. And it just gives and gives and gives and gives and gives. Like it just unravels so much, and you start to just... He's legitimately, as most games critics will call him, he's a genius, this man. Like, he's a genius. He's just a bit crazy.
It's like when I gave you an illness. Just a gift that keeps on giving.
I still hate you for that illness. It nearly killed me.
My threshhold for Portal is about an hour. And I'm like, I'm good. This is too difficult now. I need to go do things.
Yeah. This might not be fun for you. Yeah. Layers of Fear. A lot of people like this game. I didn't really like it. It was fine. It's a horror game.
Haven't played it.
Neither have I.
Gravity Rush Remastered came out. Let's just rush through some of these. Aptitude came out. People like this game. None of these are on my list. Pony Island. People like
Yes, Pony Island.
Oh, you played this one?
No, I just like the name.
Well, fine.
You are stereotyping yourself.
ponies.
You are
You really
stereotyping yourself so hard right now.
People who forgot there was a girl in the room for a second. You're like, ponies!
Ponies!
Gone Home, the console edition. I don't know what to do with remastered things when they come out, because Gone Home technically was a PC game from 3 years ago, and it really changed indie games. This is the first time it's come to console. Still, we played it. I got Katie to play it 2 nights ago. Still fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Still a fantastic game. It's very much like what Firewatch and stuff like that came from, was Gone Home. So I would 100% put it on this list, but as a game that came out 3 years ago, I don't know if you get to do that. Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, nope.
Oh my god, why do they keep making these Assassin's Creed?
These are the 2D
What
ones.
is that about? And I'm anxious because
Which one?
on like Assassin's Creed,
Really want to do this right
That's a
now?
long story.
But do you know what makes me anxious about Assassin's Creed?
The hoods.
Yeah, because they come up as like banner ads on my Facebook that I can buy one, and
The clothes.
yeah,
They have good clothes.
I've
in
never
mind.
played that game.
I have one of their hoodies.
Why are they
It's
trying to sell me hoods?
Because
What have you been looking at website wise?
Eagles,
Cookies.
Just like
What are your cookies?
Assassin's Creed websites.
Assassin's Creed.
They're making those
stories.
games too fast. The Assassin's
Well, this is
Creed
the
games.
first year where they're not making an Assassin's Creed proper game in 8 years. I think 7 or 8 years.
But I mean, has it changed since like
No.
maybe the second or
that's
third
one of the
one?
reasons. I mean, yeah, but not really. But that's one of the reasons
It's
why.
like just skins editions, right? Like they just knew. Oh, you're on
Now
a
it's
different
in France.
place.
Now it's in France.
But yeah, that's one of the reasons why this year they're not making one, because they know they've got to rejig
Yeah,
it.
they're going to reimagine it.
Banner Saga, people like that game. It's cool. Wouldn't be on my list though. That Dragon Cancer, I haven't played this yet. This is insane. You guys heard about this game?
No.
Nope.
It's a game made by the parents of whose kid had cancer, and they made this video game to kind of chart out how the experience was for them. And every level apparently is kind of completely different and very erratic. And then they use actual phone conversations they recorded from with the doctors and stuff to with their kids, like
Whoa.
inside the game.
Sounds kind of heavy.
Well, these are the things that we were talking about at the end of last year. Of I've waited my entire fucking life with video games to do the things it can do that no other medium can do, and this is one of those things.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I've got a personal experience. I can put people in my shoes and they can experience it. You
What
can't do
console
that
is this?
properly with movies. You can't do that with music. You know, that's a PC Mac game, just through Steam and things.
Is that Apple Macintosh?
Yeah. No, it's
No, the other
banana.
one.
Banana
No,
Macintosh.
It's
Just
Apple
banana.
Macintosh.
A Boy and His Blob, they redid that for Wii U. Still kind of fun. Darkest Dungeon, a lot of people liking this, but it's not my kind of thing.
What's the vibe? Do you know?
The vibe?
I just saw the word dungeon and I kind of got excited.
It is. I'll send you a video of it.
Why do you like dungeons?
It's quite intense.
I'm just a bit of a fantasy guy. That's all.
I'll send you a video.
What kind of fantasy?
I should clarify, like swords and axes and dragons and stuff.
Like
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Very much like Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, I play Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, thank you.
Resident Evil remasters are coming out. XCOM 2,
Hold on.
Dying
So
Light.
wait, back up. So Resident
Yep.
Evil Remastered, is that the original Resident
So they've done the
Evil?
first one. They've done the second one. No, 0. First one, 0, just came out remastered. They're now releasing 4, 5, and 6 again. They've just released 6. They're doing 5 and 4, yeah. And I actually know a little bit about one of them because one of our dear friends just went in for a casting on mocap for it, which was pretty cool. And it's just down the
Give
road.
us-
They're doing
give
it
us some
in
gossip.
Marina Del Rey, just next to us.
Some gossip on that?
Not on the podcast. So yeah, they're doing basically all of them other than 2 and 3 and Code Veronica.
Okay.
But everything else has just been rejigged. And people are getting very upset because Capcom used to be a great company and now they do is this. Just keep it. And they made a public announcement like, we're just going to pillage our old stuff and keep giving it to you.
Wow.
We keep buying it.
But what about Capcom vs Marvel? That was great.
That was great.
It was really great.
That was a long time ago, though, sadly.
I
But
think
that
I
was
actually
fucking
played that one.
great. It's a really good game. I was playing it the other day at an arcade in Palm Springs. Found an arcade that had SNK versus Capcom, Capcom versus Marvel 2, Street Fighter 3, and another one.
Nice.
So I tried them all.
Classic.
XCOM 2 came out. Everyone loved that game. It's not my kind of thing. Dying Light the following. Unravel with old Yanni.
I've played that. I was playing that the other night.
Who are you?
You're not a fan, are you?
It's because it's not a great game.
Yeah.
Are you a fan?
I don't mind it. I mean,
Yeah.
I like those. It reminded me a bit of Limbo, in the sense of, you know, it's a platform game, but it has very kind of strong narrative themes underneath, which I like, which is quite different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I went into it and I played with Bethany, and beforehand I listened to some videos of the creators talking about it and what it was based on and their intent and that whole, you know, thing about reflecting on your memories and what the whole game is about, like, you know. So I just bought into that. So it kind of, you know, it didn't blow my mind, but it warmed my heart.
It's a lovely little game, but it's just not good enough, I don't think. Like, it's the kind of game that 5 years ago I think would have been exciting, and now it's kind of, the mechanics aren't quite there.
Yeah.
It's a bit fumbly, and the story seems like it's trying to be emotional, but I don't really find it is. It feels mechanically emotional, if you know what I mean. It feels like this is what an indie game should be, rather than this is what I want to say.
I think it still looks pretty great.
It looks gorgeous. It's a gorgeous looking game. Street Fighter V came out. Everyone got very upset. This would definitely be on my list maybe by the end of the year, but it came out bare bones. So it's like it didn't even come out with an arcade mode when it launched. It was sort of just drip-fed stuff.
Like Killer Instinct?
Even way worse. It just came out basically as... Like, mechanically, it's probably the best Street Fighter ever made. But it's... They came out basically just for competitive players.
Do they have Hadouken?
There is one Hadouken in there. You have to be careful when you use
Nash
it.
in the game.
So that'll be... No, I don't think Nash is. That'll be on my list by the end of the year. Rocket League came out on Xbox, but...
Yeah, so Alex and I were playing that just now before the podcast.
And you seem to think that you...
That's the co-op game you guys are playing?
Yeah, that's a
Football car.
Football.
Yeah.
Car soccer.
That was their working title before they went.
Yeah.
Rocket.
So essentially, on the surface, if you saw maybe like two boring people play this game, you'd be like, "That is the stupidest game ever." But then, once you saw people who were having heaps of fun, like we were, you'd be like, "I want to have a go." It looks ridiculous, but it looks like fun.
Incredibly fun game. We also played it at your games night. I think it was Achara Kirk versus Nate and I. And we smashed you guys.
It's 4 players?
Yeah.
Up to 4 players, yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, still looks stupid. Like it's really stupid. You're in a car driving around a caged football field with a giant steel ball. You're trying to get into each other's goals. Actually, on second thoughts, that sounds really good. And it's a great game.
So I have a question for you guys. So how do you feel about the fact that couch co-op is really, for the most part, non-existent?
Upset.
It's a sad thing.
Very upset.
Yeah.
Very, very upset. A lot of the time, Achara doesn't give a shit.
You don't know what couch co-op is?
Couch co-op is when you're sitting with your friends and you can play a 2-player game in the same room rather than having to be online. Because everything's online now.
Yeah, why?
Because
That
it takes a
should-
lot of extra coding. You have to, and
should
games
be
don't
the
look as pretty,
way.
and people
Like
don't
Halo
want their games
5
to look
has
pretty.
no co-op, couch co-op, even though all
It's
the
crazy.
other Halo games had couch
That's
co-op.
a huge oversight, I think, because that's what gaming's about,
Yep.
right?
Community.
Yeah.
Well, now you can play with strangers instead of your friends.
I don't like strangers.
Or
Yeah.
I'm a friend.
Strangers are good when you're like just trying to beat an anonymous person out there that's better than you. You know what I mean? That's good. Where you have the competitive edge. But the fun in the competition is, when you've...
Destroying your friends.
Yeah, that's right.
And it goes back to, and it's kind of attached to what you were saying before as well. Like, it's just getting so difficult to play anything, to plug something in, have your friend come over, sit on the couch, play a game.
Yeah.
It's either there is no couch co-op or they have to sign up onto an account and do all that crap. And it's just like... Oh.
Yeah. I had a story when I was at my mum's and she wanted to play Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah,
I was
I remember
like,
you posting
fucking can't. It's like, it's an hour to sort this shit out.
Yes.
And that's to play Trivial Pursuit.
Well, see, that's the one thing I give Nintendo credit for.
Yep.
They make co-op very easy, and they're the only system really that has multiple co-op games
Yeah.
where you can actually play with other people on the screen at the same time, and they don't have to be on the other side of the fucking world.
To be fair, it's because they have to, because they can't seem to handle online for whatever reason it is.
Look at the Mario Kart online.
That's like it. Though.
I was playing Mario Kart online with my mate's dad. It was awesome, and we're playing with people
But that's
all over the
basically
world. But we were in the same room, versing a whole bunch of people all over the place.
Yeah,
And
that's the best. If you get
hugely
couch
fun,
co-op
hugely fun.
online, it's fucking great. So like Night Squad, we want to play that couch co-op online. Guess what? You can't do it. One of the few games you can is IDOB from last year.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I miss those days desperately. I miss making little tents, so you can see it when you're doing shooters, and you did it horizontally, and I'd make a little blanket and sellotape it to half the screen, and then hide underneath it, so my friend could only see the top bit and not my bit of the screen.
Right.
You cheeky little man.
That's not cheeky. That's why we couldn't cheat.
I said cheaty.
Oh,
No, I didn't.
Oh, but did you play Jesus, what's it called? Call of Duty. One of the Call of Duty games on the Wii U.
right.
There's I forget what it's called, Black Ops 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
If you did multiplayer on there, the gamepad would be your own screen and the TV would be a separate screen.
Yep.
So you could be 2 players and have your own exclusive screen.
That's
You're in the room at the same time,
That's the fucking great stuff about the Wii U, and it's so sad that not enough people bought it for them to do much with it.
See,
Is that where Oculus is going, you think? Like, are we going to end up there? Or with,
I would totally invest in Oculus if that was a thing, but
a headset type system?
see, the Sony had the opportunity to do something similar with the PS Vita because you can connect your portable thing to the system, but no one bought a PS Vita and no one made use of that technology. So
Because honestly, like
Yeah.
when we have a party around here, I will still bring out Nintendo Land and we'll still play Mario Chase and stuff like that because it's
That's
fucking
the best fucking
great.
game. Mario Chase is the best
So
game. Have you
good.
played Mario Chase?
So when one person has the screen, Achara, and you can see
Yeah, I
something
think you
different,
did
you're
play it.
hiding as
Yeah, I did.
Mario, remember? And like the other.
Yes, I was very good at that.
And then there's the Animal Crossing one where you're just trying to stuff fruit in your mouth.
That one's good.
Yes, I was also good at
They're
that.
fucking great.
You mean the one in your hat? Or there was the one where you put the bubble,
Yeah,
the gum
you
in
put,
your
like,
head.
balls and
Yeah.
it's like-
But then you get like bigger,
Yeah.
your head just gets bigger,
Yeah,
bigger and bigger.
that's an awesome game.
And I was good at running around and just hitting people.
Yeah, when you got friends around, like that's honestly the Wii U is what I turn to now when I have friends around, or Rock Band or something like that. Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare 2 came out. It's very good as a kids shooter. It's a good kind of step.
That's a couch co-op, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is. Walking Dead Michonne. I haven't played this one. Have you played it?
No, I haven't played
Nope.
it yet.
I love Michonne.
Yeah. Well, you can play as her.
This is
in
her
a video
story
game.
before she
Badass.
meets up with, or before she's taken by the. No, before she meets up with Rick and the gang.
Is it?
Rick in the gang.
Super
like a band.
Hot came out. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna ring it because I haven't played it yet. But people love this game. Flame in the Flood. Do you want me to talk about the Super Hot? What are you smiling about? Are you flying about Flame in the Flood?
I'm just smiling because Flame in the Flood.
All right. You got something? You like that game?
No, I think no. I was just really disappointed by it. It's really hard. I saw it at E3 and I thought it looked beautiful. I still think it looks beautiful. And I knew going into it that it was a survival game, but fuck, is it a survival game? I put it down after an hour.
It's isometric, so I'm just not interested. I don't like isometric games.
Isometric.
Stardew Valley came out. People are loving this right now. It's a Harvest Moon one I was telling you about, Chara.
Ooh.
You should get it on your. I think it's on the mobiles.
Is it?
I think so. Maybe
Oh,
not.
I'll
Maybe I'm
check it
completely
out.
wrong. Maybe it's just on PC.
Stardew Valley.
Stardew
Okay.
Valley.
I would
fuck it,
enjoy
we don't
some
have
sort of
time for this.
Harvest Moon type thing.
Yeah, people really like it. The art style wasn't quite to my liking, but people love that game. Heavy Rain Beyond got a re-release on PS4. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD got a re-release on Wii U.
Have you played that?
Not the re-release version.
My sister beat it, and she said there are major frame rate issues in the game.
Really?
Like she said, particularly in the finals boss of the game, it just starts to stutter,
Really?
and I'm like, wow, that's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo usually doesn't have that kind of issue.
I'm from a game that's 6 years old or whatever it is.
Yeah,
That's
you'd think.
worrying. The Division came out. A lot of people are playing that game.
I heard that was marred with issues.
Yeah, I didn't like it personally. I thought it was fine. It was just like it was a good shooter with no purpose because there's no story really. I mean there is, but it's not great. It's kind of like a Destiny game, but not as the mechanics aren't as good. Maybe by the end of the year they'll have added enough stuff that it feels more bulked out. Sheltered came out. Shadow Complex remastered. Pokken Tournament, which a lot of people really were surprised by. Really good Pokemon fighting game. Dead of Tentacle remastered. Dead or Alive Extreme 3.
I would buy that to play as Achara.
Which one's Achara?
I'm just confused.
Dead or Alive?
You can't buy.
I would love to
Just to
be
be
in that
clear,
game.
you cannot buy Dead or Alive Extreme 3 in the US or the UK. I think you have to import it from Japan
Really?
because they
Why?
decided this one was too sexist. Even though it's exactly the same as all the other ones that came out, but we're at that point now.
Do
No
they
more
still
bikinis.
include the thing where you can alter the bounce effect?
No, not in this one. So this one, like these ones aren't fighting games. These used to be volleyball games,
Oh,
but they're taking
that's
volleyball
right.
out.
What's the game now?
These are ones where
It's just
I don't want to open this can of worms because this is a big.
No. You
sexist
have to
can
open this
worms.
can of worms.
I have a
wanna
copy for you there.
I want to play this game.
It's a game. This is the third one in this, and it's basically one of the dudes from Dead or Alive, the fighting game,
Yeah.
invites all the girls from Dead or Alive.
I
the
played
fighting game,
volleyball.
to come to. This is unfortunately nothing like volleyball. It should be, but it's not. So you won't like it.
What's happening in the game here?
He invites them all to his beautiful
You just have a
island.
jacuzzi party or something.
Sort of like that, yeah. So they all come to his island and hang out. You pick who you want to play as. You get to do maybe 3 activities a day. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese, this version, so I'm really confused what's going on. We're playing some last night. You can do dumb stuff like tug of war. You can do jumping across little fluffy things on swimming pools, and you have to press X, 0, triangle, whatever to do it right. You can do butt battles where you're both balancing on a little floaty device in the swimming pool,
Would you
and
say
you have to
butt battles?
yeah, and you have to bounce like bash butts together to knock
What?
each other off the thing.
This sounds amazing.
And everyone's in their bikinis, obviously, the whole time. And then there's like modes where you're just lounging around by the pool or on the beach, and
Are
then you
there
can
any
take
men?
photos. No. This
There's
is a Japanese
the,
game.
There's the main man
Japanese
who invited, but I know a lot of girls who would love this game.
No, a lot of girls do love this game. And then in the evenings, you can gamble your money, and then with the money you make, you can buy presents for the other girls to try and convince them to join your volleyball team.
Yeah.
I haven't yet got to play volleyball.
Is there actual?
Like the craziest game in the world.
I
It's
think
a
I might
proper
actually
Japanese
enjoy
game.
this.
Is there actual nudity?
It sounds
in the
like
game?
just a weird sim.
It is.
thing.
It's basically like a Japanese sort of dating thing, perverted dating thing, and it is a bit. There is no nudity, just a lot of bikinis, and then they perspire properly. And if you don't put suntan lotion on them, they'll get like sunburns where the bra straps are and stuff like that. It looks so on my screen because it's so big. Every video game looks awful. This game looks beautiful.
Wow.
Looks really beautiful, but it's kind of just like screensavers in a weird way, and you can take photos in perverted
Well, there's
poses
no-
and get them to rock climb and take a photo underneath them and stupid stuff like that. And it's a horrible, chauvinistic,
And have you done that? Al?
ridiculous
Have you
name.
taken an upskirt?
No, because I was playing with my girlfriend. It didn't seem appropriate. But the problem with it is, it's really horrible. It's so Japanese because there's so many games like this in Japan. This is just one of the bigger budget ones.
Yeah.
But it's basically just soft porn. Soft porn, without the sex and stuff.
Without the nudity.
Yeah, there's no actual nudity. It's just kind of titillating. Like you get AV club stuff in Japan where you just get pretty girls in their bikinis and lounging around, and people just watch
Japan
that.
has a lot of interesting and weird stuff.
They do.
I've been told that you can buy women's underwear like the way you'd buy gum.
in vending machines.
Vending
Yeah,
machines.
in vending machines. Yeah.
But yeah, so that game, I'm afraid you have to get that one imported.
Is that going to be on your end of year list, Al?
No.
Check that one?
No.
Yep.
It would be as prettiest game because it's fucking gorgeous. Adrift came out, the cool gravity style game in Oculus Rift. We played some of that last year at E3. Hasn't had good reviews, sadly. MLB 16 the show and Hyperlight Drifter, which I'm going to bring that one.
Actually, what were some of the reviews on Adrift? It'd be interesting.
Not that great, sadly.
What were people's issues with it? That it was
I think just the
nauseating?
story wasn't that interesting and stuff, which is a shame because the developer seems lovely. This is the longest podcast we've ever done. So
How long are we going for?
I feel at fault for this. I'm
no,
sorry. No.
I'm just worried for you because I live here, so I got nowhere to be. I could talk all night very happily. I just want to make sure.
No, I'm just gonna hang out and edit after this.
Okay, cool. All right, then. Let's move on to movies.
Woo.
That was all our game stuff.
Oh, great.
I got maybe 6 or 7. No, you don't get to read this. You keep your fingers away.
Oh, who's reading it?
I'm reading it.
But you get to,
this is movie news.
It's my podcast, Adrian.
All right. Sorry.
Get your own fucking podcast and you can read your own thing out.
Well, what's Alex going to do?
He does the releases.
This is movie news.
Normally Nate handles all this,
Oh, right.
but Nate's not around, so I do the movies. Is that all right with you?
Okay.
You okay? You can leave if you want. The door's right there.
Nate's blowdown continues.
We've got 10 pieces, so we need to move through this, and I might even cut some.
One.
Director Scott Derrickson posted pictures from Doctor Strange last week, including full costume photos of Benedict Cumberbatch and how do you say his name?
Yeah, Benedict.
No, the other one, Chiwetel. I never know how you say his name. You know the dude?
What'll lead you for?
I'll be able to read it.
Oh,
You know the guy.
Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
Go with it again. Go.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Stephen Strange and Baron Carl Amadeus Mordo. Mordo is another sorcerer whose role remains unknown in the film. The character, though, has been a villain in the comics.
Very slick.
But it looks like they might be working together from what we've seen of the film so far. Doctor Strange is a brilliant surgeon whose hands are irreparably damaged in a devastating car accident. Instead of accepting the loss of his greatest asset, Strange embarks on a journey in search of a healing factor, opening his mind to the mystic arts.
I saw that photo. What do you think of that? How they look?
I'm a big fan. I'm actually most excited about this Marvel film, although the costumes, everyone really loves them. They certainly look as good as they could have looked, but I preferred him in his civilian
I
clothes.
saw a quick.
You guys seen these?
Wasn't there a leaked photo of him in his civilian clothes?
Yeah, I prefer him in the civilian stuff.
Wait. This is a superhero movie?
Chiwetel
It's the Doctor Strange
Ejiofor's
movie.
face right there. He's like,
I get paid to do this.
yeah, I was like, And then there's
That looks like
Benedict
Link's outfit a little bit.
Cumbersnatch.
It does a bit, yeah. It's gonna, no, Doctor Strange is gonna be good. It's gonna be.
I need to
a
take a
good movie.
bathroom break, so where should I go? This way out?
You can go in there.
It's not gonna make a bunch of noise.
No,
We'll
no,
hear
you'll be
everything.
fine.
It's
Yeah,
mic'd.
It's alright.
Just number 2. Sean Levy, the director of Night at the Museum and Real Steel,
I
is
like Real
remaking.
Steel.
You like Real Steel? I haven't seen him.
It's the robot one with
The
Hugh
robot
Jackman,
one,
right?
yeah.
He's remaking John Carpenter's cult classic 1984 sci-fi film, Starman. Anyone remember Starman? Jeff Bridges.
I actually know who's writing this film.
Oh,
Friend.
really? A friend?
Yep.
Do I have it now? Oh, I do. Arash Amal
Yeah,
is reportedly writing the screenplay.
yeah, he's English. Good friend of my sister's.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
good mates.
I was about to talk shit about him.
Yeah. Well, go for it.
He previously wrote Nicole Kidman's Grace of Monaco. I was only going to talk shit about him because I don't think they should remake Starman. The original film starred Jeff Bridges as an alien who has crash-landed on Earth and attempts to hide from the government by cloning a human body. Karen Allen co-starred as the widow of the cloned man, and a romance builds between them.
Ooh.
I quite like that movie. It was all right.
Yeah, so is that why you're a bit apprehensive for the remake?
It's just, honestly, it's Sean Levy, Night at a Museum of Real Still. Like, no offense to those, but I just don't feel he can carry it.
I don't know if that's true.
No offense.
It's
No.
alright. I know I love rubbish movies.
No, but they're perfectly... I haven't seen Real Still. I've seen Night at a Museum. It's perfectly fine for that kind of thing.
They're entertaining.
But I just don't feel he's right for this.
Yeah.
I don't know about your friend.
Are we talking about Mork and Mindy? Is that?
Yes. Number 3. This, I thought, was weird news.
3.
Sicario is getting a sequel.
Oh.
That is interesting.
Black Label Media, the production company behind last year's Sicario, say the studio is in full development on a follow-up, and a draft of the script has been completed by Taylor Sheridan, who wrote the original. Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, and Josh Brolin are all returning, and the studio, spoilers if you haven't seen the first one, they're all still alive. And the studio is hopeful to get original director Denis Villeneuve back as well. Now, the director, for me, is why that film's so fucking good. Mm-hmm. It's a really good film, and he's the director of Prisoners and Enemy. Makes very interesting, beautiful films.
That was a real surprise film for me.
Did you see it?
I did see it.
I think it's an
I
excellent
think you
film.
lent me the Blu-ray.
The Blues.
The Blues, yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, bring it back. Yeah, I loved it. It was great. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, whoa, that... I hadn't heard anything about it. The trailer came out. I was like, whoa, that looks pretty awesome. And then sort of forgot about it. And then it got nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. And then, yeah, lent it
3.
You lent it to me, and awesome.
That was one of those police thrillers where I was just like, I'm not... Ever since Training Day, you get all of those kind of films, and I'm not interested in any of them. Mm-hmm. So I ignored it when it first came out. And then I kept hearing such good reviews, like, I gotta give it a go, even though it's probably going to be like Training Day. And then I found out it was by that director, and I love Prisoners.
Yeah.
And Enemy was very interesting. And yeah, he has a way of interjecting very interesting, peaceful, like introspective moments into those films, which makes them so much better than any other stuff like that. The original film, had 3 Academy Award nominations and made $80 million at the box office with great critical success.
That will be interesting to see where they go with that narratively.
Yeah, if they don't have him as a director, I'm not that interested. But I don't know where you go with it. Sicario.
Sicario.
Did you like Sicario?
I fucking love it. I think it's a brilliant film.
Did you like Sicario?
I haven't seen it yet. Sorry.
Did you like Sicario?
Is it okay if we talk about Sicario? Is it
Yeah,
okay if we talk about it?
Spoilers for the next minute on
I'm
Sicario.
so glad we're talking about this movie. Okay, so I was unhappy.
I haven't seen it, guys. Sorry.
Well, you can cover your ears. So, you guys like the third act of Sicario,
Yeah.
Yep.
where the main character falls out of the movie, basically.
Yeah.
She's thrown to the ground, and it follows Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
You're okay with that?
I really
Yeah,
like it.
absolutely.
Why? I have to understand this. Because I put a review on my YouTube channel of things I didn't like about Sicario, because I thought it was like brilliantly shot and it was well acted, but I don't want to use the word feminist, but I care about how females are portrayed in film, and I thought they did a disservice to the only female character in the film, because she starts out like here, and then she just gets weaker and weaker and weaker as the film goes on, and then she's tossed out of the movie and it's given to a man, and she doesn't come to assist him at all. She doesn't have a change of heart. She's just perpetually going downward into more weakness, and at the end of the film she caves in on her morals. I'm like, what is this movie saying about women? Like, she never saves herself at all. She's saved by Benicio del Toro when she's about to be raped by that guy, or killed by that guy. I'm like, looking at it from that perspective, the only female character in the movie, I was very frustrated, because otherwise it's like I said, the writing was good, the dialogue was good, it felt so real, and the shots were beautiful. Like, I would love to see that director handle something else, but that alone frustrated me so much because I wanted more from it. I wanted her to be stronger at the end. I wanted her to turn into a bad guy at the end or something, to maybe somehow be there in the third act, but they just tossed her.
Alex. I'm trying to recall, because all my emotions, because it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm trying to recall everything. So if you want to go first.
I mean, narratively for me, that's an interesting point, and I didn't
Man privilege.
No, yeah. Well, I can't remember my initial reaction to that. But I remember narratively thinking it was very interesting to follow him. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was a main character, but still kind of peripheral to what was happening.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was like a weird sort of like, yeah, cool. Like, okay, he isn't who he seems. Let's see that for a bit. And that was my initial reaction. But I'd like to see it again now with what you've said in the back of my mind. Because, I mean, I thought she was great. I loved her performance. But yeah, you're right. I guess her character did get...
She couldn't even shoot him at the end. Like, she does not get better, ever.
But I mean, but it made... For me, that still made sense with the choice that she was given at the end. Because it was that or her life.
Would you have viewed that film the same way if it was a man in her role?
No, but this is the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Because I was looking at it from...
You'd be okay with a gun to his throat if it was a dude and crying and sacrifice. Like, I don't think it would.
I would have admired that film even more if it had been that brave. But
then it should have been a man.
We
see, because the whole thing is we see women get weakened in films over and over and over again. It's like, here was an opportunity to do something different.
This is the
and
thing.
They did the cliche thing.
No, but this is the thing. I didn't think it did at all. I disagree, but I disagree just because I think it's a matter of perception on what makes a strong role.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, with everything that I recall about that movie and all my immediate feelings after seeing that movie, and I think we talked a bit about, was it maybe you weren't on that podcast. I don't see, like, for me, she is the strongest character by a long, long way because she's real. For me, like, Benicio del Toro isn't as strong a character or as interesting a character because he's more playing into stereotypes and he's more playing into things I expect a character like him to do.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the ending's very powerful with what he does.
Yeah.
Like I said, trying to not give full spoilers, suggest.
It's been out for over a year, but sure.
I know.
Yeah.
But for me, what makes a character more interesting is getting inside their head and feeling their pain and feeling their anguish.
Yeah.
That for me is more interesting. So I was 100% on board with her, and then when you flip and you're not with her for a bit, absolutely it's jarring. But as a narrative thing, I found it wonderful. I didn't really care if it was, what sex we were flipping to in terms of who you're going to. And her decision at the end for me is the stronger decision. Like, her decision not to do that for me is stronger than a decision to kill that person at the end. So I think it's just a matter of perspective on what.
I was just listening to the discussion, having not seen Sicario. It does sound quite subjective, and what one as the viewer takes from what they're seeing. I you know what I mean? It doesn't sound.
I can completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
In terms of objectively looking at the script and stuff. Yeah, it seems like weak, but I think it's only weak from a physical point of view.
Right.
And I don't think physicality is always the best way, and particularly for women, to have to show that they're as strong as a male character in something. Mm-hmm. So for me, like, she takes the moral high road again and again and again for that film, and she really refuses to budge for so long that. And none of the others do that, So for me, I was like, she's the character that's way more interesting, has way more dignity, and I respect all the way through this film. Yeah. And the one time she kind of breaks, it means so much more because of that, But she still doesn't go. I don't want to get into it, but she doesn't go all the way, basically.
That moment you're talking about, where she has the higher ground, basically, and does not kill him. It didn't feel like it was a moral choice. It felt like she just couldn't do it. The way it was portrayed, but maybe I'm projecting at that point because I'm so frustrated by this point of the film because I wanted to love it. It was like 30, 45 minutes into the movie, I'm like, this is going to be my favorite movie this year. I am loving this so hard. And then that thing happened that we just talked about, and I'm like, I was just so disheartened because I wanted her to be stronger at the end.
But this is also like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm probably, if I go back to it, there's probably elements where I'd be like, yeah, like this could have been more interesting like this or this like this. Yeah. I like the overall arc of it, definitely. And I like that last third. I do think it keys a little bit into what we were talking about before as well, which I remember seeing like making ofs with Emily Blunt, and she was saying, she went to these places to see what it was like to be a woman, because it's very much about being a woman in a male-dominated, violent world.
Right.
That's really what the film's about. And she was talking about how difficult and sexist and male-orientated it is in that world and the people she had to be around. And the film just, I feel, portrays that very accurately. It's one of those things we were talking about earlier. It's like, sure, we can make her how we want that world to be, but that's not how it is. That's how it is probably for women in those situations.
But some escapism would be nice.
But that's really what I liked about Sicario, is it wasn't about that. Like, it was really seemed, I don't know, like it could be completely ridiculous, but from the way it's portrayed, it seemed like a very honest portrayal of how those things happen. Yeah. Which, was kind of what made it stick out for me.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. Sorry, excuse me. Thank you. You generally ask great questions, man. You're welcome anytime.
Okay.
Suicide Squad has reportedly gone into reshoots to make the movie funnier. Following the extreme success of the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer in January, which did a 180-degree turnaround on last year's somber Comic-Con trailer, insiders say Warner Brothers may have already given up every joke that the film had. So they're keen to try to turn the flavor of the movie around to fit people's reaction. This is coupled with the criticism that Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman film lacked humor. Reportedly, the reshoots are costing tens of millions of dollars.
It's a good investment. Well, they did the same thing with Thor 2.
Did they?
Yeah, they went back and shot more Loki scenes.
Well, that didn't
because it did. It wasn't a good movie, but it made it better than it was because every time Loki was on screen, did you see Thor 2? It was the only good parts of the movie was when Loki was there, and you actually enjoyed the company of Loki. You enjoyed the film a bit more when he was present. As soon as he disappeared, you're like, oh, well, fuck this movie.
But this is another exact example of what we were talking about earlier on in this podcast of the public shaping what people are creating while it's still being shot. Like, this film was done and it was in post, and then they realized, oh, people preferred the funnier version of this. Let's go back and try and sort that out.
This is the one instance where I'm agreeing with the decision to go back because everything is so goddamn serious.
No, but this is what I'm saying, though. It's like the thing with the Xbox. It's like, whether you agree or not from your personal opinion of what you want the product to be, I just still don't feel we get the right to tell them. And all this says to me is, however this ends up, it'll be a bit of a mess because they didn't have a clear vision and they didn't stick with it. That's all that tells me.
But hasn't that been clear from the get-go, from the very first trailer?
Honestly, no. From the very first trailer, I was like, well, they know what they're doing, and I wasn't interested. That was how it was, you know? Yeah. And they've been very clear to say we're not adding jokes. We're not just going in and adding like a shot of someone telling a joke. We're just trying to lighten the mood and add more fun to this kind of thing. But that's the thing. For me, it's just a matter of respect. It's like, I can't respect you anymore. And it just feels like everything DC is doing in terms of just trying to figure it all out as they go along with no real clear plan of where they're going. Which just worries me with this stuff. Because I want all these films to be great. And I want Aquaman to be great and Wonder Woman to be great. And I don't know. They're not instilling much faith, I don't think. Final Fantasy. At Square Enix's special LA event last week, they announced a special Final Fantasy anime series and also a CGI animated movie called Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 that will be animated in the same style as Advent Children.
Yes, I will watch this.
Spirits Within. The film won't be released in cinemas. Voice actors include Aaron Paul, Lena Headey, and Sean Bean.
Bitch.
Game of Thrones people and Breaking Bad people.
It's the end of acting. Sean Bean, do you think he's going to die?
That's what at the moment, everyone's like, will he make it to the end of this movie? Because it looks like a weird Game of Thrones-y Final Fantasy film.
$5 he won't.
Mr. White.
I'll do $5 he will.
You reckon?
It's on. Let's do a pizza bet.
Okay, great.
All right. Number 6, Deadpool. Deadpool.
Yeah.
6.
Deadpool may have had a series of brilliant post-credit sequences, but director Tim Miller revealed to the Art of Title last week that the one they didn't get to do was proposed by his wife and his creative director was his favorite. Quote, they pitched doing our own version of the honest trailers, where the guys go in and tell you everything that was wrong with the movie. I really love this idea. We actually wanted to get the guy who does them to do an honest trailers version of Deadpool and then would run it during the credits. And I can't wait until they actually do one. End of quote.
How'd you guys feel about Deadpool?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun, basically. Yeah. I would have been happy if they pushed it even further, but I appreciate they couldn't because everything they did was a big risk anyway.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was great fun.
I thought it was the best portrayal of it's not what you say, but how you say it. Yeah. Like, it's the first film where you can obviously point to and go, here's an example of it. Because he's on the bed talking about Liam Neeson and the Taken movies. Yeah. And he's like, that's not what he's fucking talking about at all. And you can see it in his face because Ryan Reynolds pulled it off. I love that scene.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my favorite scene in the whole movie because of that example. Because it's like it's hard to convey that to people. It's hard to explain that to people. But it's not what you say; it's how you say it.
Yeah.
You know. So that was my big takeaway of all the things in the movie. That was my big takeaway.
What was your favorite bit, Chard, in the Deadpool?
Small hand.
Oh,
That's pretty funny.
terrifying.
I can't. I don't know.
I love when he calls out Fox.
Yes. What's that?
Because is it the man? Is it the? It's like, wow, you'd think that
Yeah,
because it was only two X-Men.
Only two
Yeah,
X-Men,
yeah.
and then I like that bit.
Yeah.
It's as
We
if
just
it's
took the
almost
piss.
like a budget of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost as if Fox, didn't want to finance more X-Men to be in this.
Yeah, and it's when he's
Yeah.
at the house and he kind of leans in and goes, like, "This X-Men house seems very empty." My favorite bit's actually at the end where the little cartoon characters are running around, like on top of the person who's knocked out.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I just wanted. Yeah, I really loved it, but it made me very excited for Deadpool 2.
I thought that was the best romantic movie of the year so far.
Yeah, it was a great date movie.
Yeah.
It's a really cool date movie.
I'm yet set as I was
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
right in the middle of moving countries when it was all happening and I was selling all my shit. That's like one of the ones where I'm like, fuck, I've got to see that film. I've got to see that film.
It was really fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I hear
Very
it's a hoot.
small. It's very small in scope, but it knows that and it has fun with that, and it's just great fun.
I just found all the like brains and stuff, like the blood, a little bit disturbing.
It's crazy violent, which is,
Is it?
which
I
is
know.
fantastic.
Yeah, no, but I think it was just
Shocking.
shocking because I wasn't expecting it, even though I knew it was R. But then I was like, oh my god, he just blew someone's head off.
Was it shocking like these fucking?
Is that what balances the intellectual, witty banter though?
I don't know how intellectual.
Well,
I'd call it.
because it seemed like it was
It's
like
very
he's
meta.
a wise cracking kind of.
Yeah. It's very meta
Yeah.
and stuff.
See, the funny thing is, I'm not normally into like toilet humor or gruesome violence, but that film did it egregiously, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but this is an awesome movie. Like
Yeah.
as a whole,
Just it has fun with it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like everyone's having fun with it. Yeah, were you shocked, Achara, as all the fucking parents with their kids who tried to sue Fox for making this movie because it's so violent?
I was really disturbed. My 8-year-old niece, I went.
Already,
by
I'm
their
asking
house.
why.
No, she hasn't seen it. I went around to visit my in-laws, and then I was like, oh, I just watched Deadpool. I really enjoyed it. And then my 8-year-old niece goes, oh yeah, some of the boys in my school went to watch that, and I was like, what?
Because as we talked about before, that's what you can do in this country.
Yeah, I know.
5-year-olds can
like,
go see this movie. It's
That's
fucking unbelievable.
horrendous.
And then
they'll sell them tickets.
it's an R-rated film. All that means is you have to have someone over 17 taking you. You can be any age.
Yeah,
That's
so,
literally all it means in this country.
Wait, is that a problem for you guys?
That's a huge
Yeah.
fucking.
Why?
You're not allowed to. Wait, are you in Australia?
But my
No.
bigger problem is that you have a rating like that and no one here seems to give a shit, and then stupid people take their kids to movies like this and then try and sue the company because it was unbelievably
Well,
violent.
that part I completely disagree with, but having a kid, like an 8-year-old, watch this movie with parental supervision, you are against that? That's my question.
Yeah, I am.
Why is that? Like, at what age is it okay then?
I don't think there is an age when it's okay, but I think having films where, the Friday the 13th films, you're basically saying any kid of any age can go and see these films is not cool. And I don't think, of course it's not an age. There's some kids who at 8 are totally mature enough to understand.
Yeah.
There's some people when they're in their 30s aren't mature enough to understand. But as a generalization, I think certificates are a good thing. I don't like censorship, but certification, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I'd probably go by the certifications. I mean, that's what they're there for, as a guide for parents, because they've got psychologists and they've got people who have viewed the films and have gone, you know what, this probably isn't suitable for the developmental stage of an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, as a general guide, sure, maybe a year or two either side, okay, but I think if I was a parent, I probably wouldn't take my kid to see something super violent.
But this is then when you say the certification, the certification, films don't go over R, very rarely, because it's just death as a
Right.
general rule in the cinema industry. If you go
Right.
over an R, and an R is anyone can watch it, as long as you have someone over 17 taking you. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, I don't agree with that, but it's there. My big problem is then fucking parents don't think. They just take people.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when they take the kids to go and see Deadpool and then they get all upset about it, it's like, well, it's because you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at what you're doing.
Like, you should, if you're gonna do that, you should at least watch it first, and then make the choice yourself
You don't
as a
even have-
parent,
you-
and then be like,
You don't have to do that
Okay.
anymore. You can go to imdb.com and it'll tell you how violent it is, how many bad words there are, how many sex scenes there are. But I think that it all depends on the relationship that parents have with their children, on whether or not that child should be allowed to watch a rated R movie. I used to have a pseudo stepdaughter, and I would take her to watch rated R movies, but I would explain to her well in advance the kind of things she's to expect and remind her that this is an illusion, it's not real, it's all make-believe. And she handled Mad Max just fine. She enjoyed Mad Max. And she loved Halo.
But the thing, like, for some people, it's completely fine. My simple thing with it is, like, some of the stuff like we're talking about, the problem of, cinemas like day and day and stuff. It's like, well, just wait 3 months and you can fucking watch it at home however you want.
Yeah.
You know, but the cinema experience for me,
Yeah.
you know, of sitting there distracted because there were kids crying, for example, it's like partly
Well, that's bullshit.
it's just, you know, but they're allowed to because the government's saying this film is appropriate for your children. And for a lot of children, Deadpool is not appropriate for. And for some, sure it is. But like for so many, it's not.
And not all parents have the capacity to have that, you know, open, straightforward conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Which is upsetting, but that's a whole different social problem.
I remember watching The Matrix Reloaded and seeing parents bringing little kids in to watch that movie with them. I'm like, this is rated R. There's a sex scene, a rave sex scene in the middle of the movie. I am so uncomfortable right now. Like, I don't know how to watch this film without sweating hard.
That upsets me more for the fact that parents took their kids to see such a shit film.
There should have been a rating on that film just to stop people
Oh my God.
If you have taste, do not see this film. Trainspotting 2. Trainspotting was a huge success back in 1996, making over $72 million on its $1.5 million budget. I had no idea it was $1.5 million to make the first one. That's cool. The sequel is finally happening, and Ewan McGregor shed some reassuring light on the reason why. Quote, the script only arrived very recently, which was...
Could you do it in in a British
the script
accent?
only... in a British accent.
Scottish accent?
No. I'll do it in a British accent right now. The script only arrived very recently, which was really, really, really good. I think if that had not happened, none of us would be into it. I think we're all sort of somewhat protective of what Trainspotting means to people and what it means to us. None of us want to make a poor sequel to it. So had we not been presented with the most extraordinary script, which we were, I think we wouldn't be making this sequel. But because we were, we are.
That's code for it's going to be shit.
End quote. But Ewan McGregor will be joined by returning cast Ewan Bremner, Johnny Lee Miller, and Robert Carlyle, as well as the director Danny Boyle. The original was based on the book by Irvin Welsh, who wrote the sequel Porno in 2002. Porno was set 10 years after. The movie sequel is set 20 years after, but little else is known as to how accurately it will stick to that novel. It is released next year, 2017.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would agree with you if it wasn't the fact that everyone's on board and Danny Boyle. Like, Danny Boyle won't make a shit film now.
Yeah, it's true.
No, I'm pumped for it. Yep.
Pumped?
I'm pumped.
Are you literally down the gym every day just thinking about it?
What, you don't say pumped here?
If you,
Thanks for picking out my cultural differences.
Well, I just like you. I'd like to remind you that you're new here.
I'm excited.
I don't know how many times Ben Affleck said that Batman vs. Superman was a great script. But you hear this all the time, like with Terminator Salvation. Christian Bale had his freak out on set. He's like, no, but he went on the radio. And he's like, no, you got to see this movie. It's really, really good. It's really well done. And it was like the most horrible Terminator after Terminator 3. You know,
I agree with you as a general rule, but like I say, I don't think Danny Boyle would get involved with anything.
He did Slumdog, right?
Everything.
He did, Slumdog. He did Steve Jobs. Did The Beach. He did.
Okay. I didn't see
Trainspotting. He did. Shallow Grave. He did. What else did he do?
Trainspotting 2.
Trainspotting 2. Jennifer Lawrence, it says here. Jennifer Lawrence has been quite vocal about... I write these things. Sometimes I look at them like... she's been quite vocal about how she was done with the makeup process in her role as Mystique in the X-Men movies and has shown little enthusiasm, seemingly just wanting to fulfill her contract. But last week she spoke to Empire saying she really wants to return. Quote, I am dying to come back. I love these movies. I love being in them. I love ensemble movies.
And I love making $52 million a year.
Because it's not on anyone's shoulders, end quote. X-Men Apocalypse comes out 27th of May.
I'm very
That's-
excited for that.
That's code for her PR manager. Talk to her. And
Yep.
It's like, will you shut the fuck up with the whole whinging about the makeup
About
and just say you really love what you're
Having
doing?
blue vagina and on your boobs.
Whoa.
That's what they have to do. They get
she
really
needs to go to a
naked.
doctor. If
So-
that's the case.
So how do you guys feel? Can we talk about that for a second? How do you guys feel about the trailer for X-Men Apocalypse? I was underwhelmed personally.
Yeah.
Very underwhelmed.
Oh.
Is this the one Justin was saying about the
Justin was pumped. I think.
family just running at each other? Like
No, that's Civil
Oh,
War, and don't talk shit about Civil War.
Civil War looks awesome.
While in my house.
That's the thing. It's like
Okay.
after Civil War, everything else kind of just doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a tangibility to Civil War, which Apocalypse, honestly, there are moments which I'm sure will be cool, but I just feel Bryan Singer said everything he has to say with the X-Men. I love Bryan Singer, but I'm just like, I'm not interested anymore in what you have to say. And Apocalypse looks awful. He looks
Olivia,
like a CGI.
I'm excited for it. I'm pumped.
when Olivia Munn is flipping and cuts through the car,
Yep.
it just looks so contrived. It looks so put together, and I'm like, really? This feels like Mortal Kombat Annihilation all over again. It just.
Excellent movie.
Chard's on board. All these things.
Did you see Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Oh, I don't know. I saw one of the Mortal Kombats, whatever.
The first one was okay. The second one was horrendous.
First one at Christopher Lambert.
Yes.
Yes.
That legitimized the movie.
Raiden.
Yes, Raiden.
Yes.
From lots of different places.
But that shot of her cutting through the car and landing, it's like that says Bryan Singer made the movie. To me, it just looks awful. It doesn't have any gravity to it. The way
I agree.
she's moving, it just the shot that says everything I want to say about it sums up my opinion about X-Men.
I agree.
The movies.
I agree.
I love the cartoon though, the Fox cartoon.
Chard's looking sad
Yeah.
now. You made us sad.
You made me sad,
Yeah.
Jaby. I'm
Yeah.
very sad.
So do you like the last X-Men movie, Days of Future Past?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't.
I
I
liked
didn't for
it,
the
but-
same reason that I had an issue with Sicario.
Oh, all
Because
right.
they got rid of Wolverine in the last act. I'm like, that was your main character. Why is he gone? I was so pissed
Men
off.
deserve better. They really do.
No, it's not the sex
I
thing.
know, I'm
You don't
joking,
just.
I'm fucking with
They literally tossed him out of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put him inside water until the movie was over. They're like, okay, you can come out now, Logan.
How did you feel about in Star Wars when Han Solo was put into the graphite or whatever it was?
Carbonite.
Sorry, Alex. Carbonite.
Why? Where's the
He was taken out
comparison?
of the movie.
Yeah, he was kind of taken out of the movie for a while.
That was the very end of the movie.
That's true.
That is true.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
I like how you're going for this fucking stereo thing. You're just jumping
But
back
that's
and forth.
if you're going to really bring that up, that you're talking about an ensemble of people, whereas X-Men first, what is it called? X-Men: Days of Future Past was told through Wolverine's eyes.
It was, yeah.
There were so many problems with that movie, in my opinion, and it's like the most interesting character, the guy who runs around really fast.
Best scene in the movie.
Oh, my favorite.
Like, yeah, but that's what you walk away with is that, and it's like, why did he disappear from the film? For convenience, because it would be too hard to write anything else with him.
Well, and the other reason was because he was one of those weird in-between characters with both Marvel held the rights and Fox held the rights. So Marvel had Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron. And
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's in
that's
Age of
why he's in the
Ultron.
movie for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it's really, he's one of those very few characters where both companies still own the rights. Well, every other X-Men, Fox owns. So they were putting him in Age of Ultron, and Fox were like, we want to fucking use him as well. So they got to call him what he really is, which is the son of Magneto. Is that in the film? Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit,
What?
a little bit.
Spoilers.
You've just
He's the
blown
son
my
of Magneto.
mind.
No,
What?
literally in the
But
middle
in
of the
the-
movie, it was so stupid. In the middle of the movie, he goes, "Oh, I had a father that had magnetic powers."
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Magneto goes, "Huh?" And then they walk away from each other. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding? If I
it's
can
'cause-
see it,
it's because
no
Magneto-
power, no superpowers." here."
Magneto knows, but he's going to do, I fucked a lot of girls
Yeah.
one time. I don't know what it's like.
It's like, what?
You could be anyone's, really.
But it's
I'm
like
Michael Fassbender. What?
the thing is, if I as an audience can see it, the characters should be able to see it and talk about it.
I agree.
Look, none of the characters know that freaking Clark Kent is Superman, okay? When I put glasses on, people are like, oh, it's Achara.
You disappear.
No, that's not true.
You disappear.
Hey, look at that journalist over there.
She looks smart and interesting.
What is she doing in this podcast? Hey, Achara's back.
But yeah, so
Exactly
in
like
Age of
that.
Ultron, that's why, if you've seen Age of
Yeah, I
Ultron,
have.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they killed Quicksilver in that, was because Marvel realized, you know what, like when they saw the reception that was happening with Days of Future Past, like we got to have a sacrifice here, and he's the one to get rid of because we can't have, it's too confusing for people.
Yeah.
2 different versions of Quicksilver, 2 different actors, 2 suits, and in the Marvel ones, they're not allowed to say mutant because Fox owns that word. So they could never say they're mutants. That's why they're all, what are they called? Something else.
It's so fucking
Meta-human.
No,
it's
that's
sorry,
Batman.
wrong
That's
one.
Batman. They call him something else, and that's why they're never allowed to mention Magneto. They had to give him a different backstory, so it really pissed off fans. Cause like, well, that's not where Quicksilver and the Witch come from.
It's so crazy how these like little elements, these components of superhero stuff gets pulled apart. Like the same thing happened with Superman, where it went into a court battle, and they're like, okay, well, here's the powers that you can keep. Here are the powers that we're keeping.
Yep.
I'm like, it's super fucking man. This thing is old. It's like
Super fucking man.
It's 100 years old. Like, just let him be.
Yep. No, I agree.
It's crazy.
But that's how. This is why everyone just got an Amber Alert on their phones.
Yes.
Except for me, because my
was
phone's
that?
Oh,
dead.
really?
Someone's been.
If they kidnap a child or something, then they'll send it out to everyone. Will see everyone in the state. Basically, it's a really great deal. So all the phone companies will send a text out to everyone.
Unless you're in the middle of an
Yeah.
audition.
That's like the.
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
your phone just goes.
Exactly.
The Last of Us, number 9, just 2 more. Video game movies might be potentially on the up with Duncan Jones' Warcraft adaptation and more in particular Michael Fassbender's Assassin's Creed movie. But one film in development that people had high hopes for was The Last of Us, based on one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time. Sadly, in an interview last week with IGN, you've been through so many emotions in the last 30 seconds. In an interview with IGN, Neil Druckmann, the director of the video game, offered some disappointing news about the film's future. Quote, I know I said in an interview a while back that we had a table read, got the script to a good place, and it kind of entered development hell like these things tend to do. There hasn't been any work done on it for over a year and a half.
Uncharted is also in development, right?
Yeah, an Uncharted movie is still reportedly in the works. Despite numerous setbacks, it has been slated for release June the 30th, 2017.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna
You know
happen.
what?
not gonna
I'm
happen.
actually
Yeah.
happy they're not doing a Last of Us film
Yeah.
because narratively that's still one of the like strongest.
Yeah.
Narrative.
And those characters are those characters.
Yeah, exactly.
So with something like Assassin's Creed, it's like, yeah, you can do what you want. I don't care. But yeah, with those films, I agree.
You guys like the Last of Us game a lot?
Yeah, I did. I mean, like as far as gameplay goes, it was pretty, I guess, standard. I guess. Do you know what I mean? But narratively and how it pulled me, I was really hooked. And the end, I mean, I loved the.
There were
And-
there were gameplay moments that I felt were a little bit substandard, but it was only because I was used to Uncharted. It's like, okay,
Yeah, exactly.
go find a ladder.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you just fucking climb it?
Exactly.
Climb it like Nathan. Do the Nathan thing where you climb it so we can get through the game quicker. But no, you got to find this board to cross across the water. I'm like,
Absolutely.
you can swim and climb the. Okay.
And
Yeah,
those
no,
two
I
ma-
agree. The gameplay, it's the weak bit, the story, and
No,
the
it was-
characters
yeah,
were.
it was great.
Yeah,
It
there
was
was too
so
much
rich.
sneaking for me, and too many So I played the game 3 times because I kept stopping, and then getting the PS4 version and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I just the combat and the sneaking around the clickers is like I've had enough. I just
bit-
want,
yeah,
I
the-
just want to see the story.
Yeah, the bits that I actually enjoyed the most were when you would be just walking through a town
And
and they
talking.
started having a conversation, and just like backstory was unveiled, and it was like, it's beautiful.
I got stressed out by the big guy who like takes shit off his.
Oh,
body
yeah.
and throws it at you.
yeah.
Oh,
I
horrible.
was like sweating bullets playing that sequence when he's chasing you around.
Yeah,
But anyway, Uncharted.
Uncharted movie,
Uncharted.
not gonna happen. I agree.
Yeah,
Particularly fucking Mark Wahlberg was going to be playing.
that
Nathan
sounds like
Drake.
such a
That
bad
was
idea. They
terrible.
don't need an Uncharted movie.
No.
The game is a movie.
Well, just
enough in
make a
itself.
fucking like a Advent Children,
Yeah.
Uncharted movie. Like do it with the with the same voice actors and the same anime. Just do that. Last piece of movie news.
last piece.
Wait, before we move on from the video game stuff,
Yeah,
are they making a Metal Gear Solid game movie?
yeah, apparently, but that's who knows right now because
Mark
Konami's
Wahlberg?
been so weird. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
They talked about Hugh Jackman playing Snake at one point.
Did they?
Well, it was just like I think it was a fan pick.
I could
And this was like 12 years ago.
I could see
You can
that.
still see him.
Beautiful man. Last piece of news.
And he can sing.
Spider-Man, discovered by BBC News. Sony have registered a new domain name, which is SpiderMan-Homecoming-the-movie.com.
Oh my god.
While this doesn't necessarily mean it's what the new movie will be called, it is curiously specific. So even if the title changes, it most likely hints at some of the film's narrative. However, Homecoming was also the title for the comic book in Spider-Man issue 252 in 1984, and was famously the first time Peter Parker was seen in the black suit in New York City. It took place after he returned from the Secret Wars in space and had found a symbiotic alien that would later go on to become Venom. Don't forget that there's also, to confuse matters even more, because it makes it seem like, oh, cool, they're going to do Venom properly, and that's what this story's going to be. Don't forget that recently announced there's also going to be a Venom movie in development as a potential franchise of its own, and they've already stated that Venom will exist outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and will not run into Spider-Man. Spider-Man will hit theaters on July the 7th, 2017.
So hold on now. That's Sony?
Sony.
Okay. Here's a fun little tidbit.
Well, with Marvel.
For Civil War, the stunt double of Spider-Man is black.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
He's a friend of mine. And I'm like, that's awesome. Spider-Man's finally black. Only nobody knows.
And everyone's upset.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Were you hoping that they were going to bring in Miles, whatever his name is? Morales?
Honestly, I wouldn't have minded if they had.
Yeah.
But Peter Parker is my Spider-Man. That's who I grew up with.
Yeah.
So, I'm reading the Miles Morales stuff now. He's cool. He's a cool character.
Yeah. I wanted to see it, but they disappointed me.
Yeah.
Now it's just a younger Peter Parker.
Well, this is the thing. Like, for me, Daredevil's my favorite and Spidey's my close second favorite. And everyone else is quite a long way lower than that for me with comic book characters.
Yeah.
To the point where, we made a Spidey fan film a few years ago. And it's... Andrew Garfield was my perfect Peter Parker.
He was really good.
He's fucking incredible. And we were changing channel in the hotel when we were in Palm Springs, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 came on, which is not a good movie.
Yeah.
Other than 2 scenes, maybe.
Yeah.
But he is fucking brilliant in it. And you watch him walking around in the suit with this kid who was getting bullied, and he's just walking down talking. And his physicality is just perfect.
Yeah. And he really appreciated the role too.
Oh, he really did.
Like, he had fun at Comic-Con with all the fans. He was dressed up in a shitty Spider-Man outfit, walking the floor and whatnot, and then revealed himself at a panel. Everyone lost their mind. It was amazing.
And that's how he revealed he was doing the role and stuff, wasn't it? That was the week when it went up that he was doing it and stuff.
I don't actually know. I just saw the video online of when he pulled the mask off, and you could hear just the crowd erupting, and he's just he just seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah.
He seems really nice and down to earth.
Which one is he? Is he the current? No.
No, he was Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2, the two last ones too that came out.
The last 2 that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the new ones now play Tom Holland, who's a kid who's 19, I think, but he's meant to be playing a 17-year-old Spidey.
Okay.
But this is the first time Spidey's going to be in the MCU, so that's why he's in Civil War, and he'll be in the Avengers and stuff.
How do you like his costume?
I'm just so fucking elated for them to have Spider-Man in the MCU. I couldn't give a shit. I think the eyes are great. I'm so happy to have expressive eyes. The rest of it's a bit too 60s looking for me.
Yeah.
But, whatever. It's fucking Spider-Man in the MCU. They could only make me happier if Wolverine was in there as well. That's about it.
Okay.
So, it's all I want.
I'm thinking Spider-Man Homecoming, what, prom?
That would be great.
Is that what's going on? That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I first thought it was a cheeky thing for Marvel getting him back and calling it Spider-Man Homecoming kind of thing. But the fact that it's Spider-Man Homecoming the movie is weird. Because that would be a weird name.
They need ideas.
Yeah.
He's at a high school prom.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, it'll be like 16 Candles, Spider-Man. I'd watch that film.
Yeah.
I'd watch that
16
film.
Candles
16
with
Candles
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. And he's not really in the suit very often. It's just mostly Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go.
You just reminded me of Thor. I loved the movie Thor up until he became Thor. When he was just a dude in this world and he was struggling to be a normal person.
Yeah,
So you like the... Yeah, because I always forget the first one doesn't start in Asgard, does it? It starts in on Earth.
I forget where it starts, but the hammer, he can't pick up the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he spends most
No,
of
he
the movie.
gets kicked out of Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
And he ends
really...
up
It's
on
like a 80s sort of... It's that old 80s trope, isn't it? Of a fish out of water, essentially.
Yes.
And trying to understand the world that they're in and stuff.
It was awesome up
Yeah.
until he became Thor. I was so disappointed in the third act.
Basically, yeah, all the earthy stuff on that I really love, and then it's when it gets all Asgardy. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's crazy. Anyway.
That was the news.
It's time to wrap up.
Well, honestly, we will obviously make this a bit quicker than normal. Alex,
God, sorry, we better go through this.
do you fear it? Do you fear it now?
Yeah.
Do you want to change the name of your section?
No.
I'm giving you one out right now. So I need some cash.
Chard looks scared.
You need cash, Jim.
Well, I've got some projects that I want to do.
Yeah.
And my problem is financial.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking is I live in LA.
Mm-hmm.
There are people here who have plenty of funds,
Yeah.
but no ideas.
Yeah, no, that's it. and there's types of people you should ask. People that have got big contracts from big box office films have money.
That would be a good way to go, I feel. But I need to find the right person.
Yeah, so you want to probably avoid the Star Wars crowd.
Yep.
Think back to 2015 and what was the second biggest film of 2015?
I literally can't.
Can't remember.
No.
Something to do with dinosaurs.
Jurassic World.
Exactly. And who was in Jurassic World?
One of Shannon's friends who played the dude with the gyrospheres.
But you know what? You know who you should turn to ask for money now?
The 2 tequila dude who...
Keep on going. Getting warmer.
Margaritas. The pterodactyl.
Getting warmer.
Oh, the strapping fellow.
That is in the lead.
But I don't think he would ever give me money. Maybe if I could...
stand on top of your roof and shout out, Chris Pratt, can you give me some money? Do you know what that means, Al?
It means it's release this time.
Movie release time. So this week, Friday the 8th of April...
welcome to our life. That face is the correct face to be
That is the
right
correct face that every guest makes when we start our movie releases. So, coming out this Friday, the 8th of April. First up, we've got Hardcore Henry.
I'm so excited for this movie.
Great.
There you go.
I'm
So if
so
you don't
fucking
know,
excited.
if you haven't seen the trailer for it, it's a first-person action film from the eyes of Henry, who's resurrected from death with no memory. He must discover his identity and save his wife from a warlord with a plan to bioengineer soldiers. Guys, you're excited?
Definitely.
It looks fucking horrible, but I'm really excited.
No,
Oh,
false.
yes.
It looks really
No,
good.
the acting looks unbelievably bad. The English guy's accent is the worst thing ever. The baddie looks like some emo Naruto
well, I don't know English
fan
accents.
film.
Okay, so
let me
Is this? Can I ask quickly? Is this taken from that web
Yeah.
thing that they did with the Megal
with
or
the
whatever?
boobs and the random parkour. And
Oh, no.
The action looks amazing.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But this looks like Crank. Like Crank is a fucking horrible movie, but it's so good. So good because it's just balls to the wall, insane. Every camera idea they could do, every action idea they could do. And this looks like that in terms of like such a great action film. But every bit of acting in the trailer is the worst acting I think I've ever seen in my life. It looks horrible.
It stars Tim Roth and Sharlto Copley, the South African actor from District 9. Yeah, cool. I'll quickly move on because we're short on time. Next coming up is Demolition, which stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Naomi Watts, and is directed by Jean-Marc Vallée, who directed... Gone blank. You might have to look at that.
I've never seen that film.
Crazy.
Crazy?
I don't know. I think so.
Anyway, it stars Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a successful investment banker whose wife dies, and he struggles to deal with that. And it has to
It demolishes his life.
demolish his life.
Quite literally demolishes his.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer?
Yep.
What do you think?
I think it looks like it could be interesting.
Could be interesting. My sort of thought is that Jake Gyllenhaal is maybe sort of sinking into a hole of similar characters. Of like dark, kind of crazy.
But he was the
do you know?
Prince of Persia.
Oh my god.
That he was, Al. I don't know. I think it could either be a really good character study and like psychologically fucking interesting. Like I'm going to learn something new about the way someone could deal with a certain situation, but it could also be shit.
These are the only two
Could
options.
be, well, it's true. Like it really is. It's the kind of premise that seems either it's going to be really interesting and deep like cool, or it's going to be not.
It is going to
not
be
so.
literal him demolishing his house and not really diving into
But
the
Jake-
feelings and thoughts about it.
Jake,
Exactly, yeah.
just a year ago, was in fucking Nightcrawler. And
That was
one of the
amazing.
That's
most
one of my
interesting
favorite
roles. He's incredible in that. And it's a very
he
different
picks
role.
good films. He doesn't pick the money.
But I just mean that was a
always.
weird role for him. Like that was such a cool,
Yeah.
crazy role.
I find when I look at his CV, he goes through these kind of... He's
Patterns.
really ebbs and flows where it's like, bang, a huge standout performance, and then it kind of peters out, and then another one comes up.
It's because he tries to do the George Clooney thing of one for them, one for me, one for them, one for me.
Brilliant.
But his ones for them rarely make the money. They're things like Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So, I've got a quick fun question for you guys. An old friend of mine asked me this question a while back. So when an actor and an actress are kissing on screen, that's work. It's make-believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? How would you feel if Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal had to play lovers in a movie and kiss? It's acting. It's performance. Look at your face. It's all make-believe and pretend. So why isn't that okay? I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that in there because.
Well, I think because there's like biological like alarm bells that one has automatically built into them genetically.
Because it's wrong and you're a sick man, Jaby. Get out.
Like genetically to stop you doing that.
Yeah.
And so if you were to
Even as an audience member, can you buy it? Can you just watch it?
Just because you are still, I mean, you can say it's make believe, but you're still doing it. It's like, and you talk on a serious conversation with any actor or actress with no scenes. It's like, yeah, it's confusing because at some point, you have to feel sexually attracted or you have to kind of get into it.
Or you just kiss them and you're like, oh my God, I can feel the repulsion that you feel when you're kissing me. I get that you're not into girls, but come on, do your job. That's happened
Is there any personal experience?
Yeah. Sorry, that's a personal experience story right there.
What I would be more interested in is if you got Jake and Maggie in the same scene with like John Cusack and Joan Cusack, but then they kiss the other one's partners, but in the same scene next to each other, just to like see how like.
That would
I think it would be
weird.
interesting watching them try and kiss, but as soon as they made any contact, it would be like, ugh.
That's because they're still kissing.
No, but try. Like,
No, I
like
know,
going,
but I'm just saying, like,
and then them actually not being able to do it would be funny. Anyway,
That'd be a great April Fool's video.
Okay, next coming out, I've got The Boss,
we're really moving through
which is written by Ben Falcone and directed by him, and he is Melissa McCarthy's husband, actually. And he's also in the film. It's about a titan of industry is sent to prison after she's caught for insider trading. When she emerges, she's ready to rebrand herself as America's latest sweetheart. Not everyone she screwed over is so quick to forgive her and forget.
what was the last bit?
Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Bell, Peter Dinklage. Comedy movie.
She's in a lot of films.
Melissa McCarthy. She's getting around. She's funny. I think she's great.
I didn't say anything. I was just.
She's funny, but I feel like some of the movies that she's been doing recently are kind of like, quick, we gotta like capitalize on her popularity, probably her people or whatever, and just be like, let's make a whole bunch of movies, and some of them are just bloody awful.
You gotta treat movies, your movie career like bands treat their albums nowadays. Have a new one every year, or you're just not relevant.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Do you think Peter Dinklage can only do comedies? He came off Game of Thrones, and now he's only doing funny movies because he's a short guy. And then we can only see him in funny movies.
He was in Elf before he
Days
did
of
Game of
Future
Thrones.
Past, he wasn't funny.
Which one? Hold on, wait.
He was in Elf before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What did you say?
He was in Knights of Badass.
Yeah.
He was in
What?
Tiptoes.
Oh yeah, he was in
Wasn't
Tiptoes.
he in Days of
That's
Future
a drama.
Past?
Yeah, right. Well, it's a movie about mutants.
It's
Right.
not a comedy.
It's a
To be fair,
comedy.
he doesn't play a comedic role.
He's not funny in it.
But
He's super
I
serious.
agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think you have to call him little.
And what's
people,
really
not
sad about
mutants.
that is he's had some great dramatic scenes in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So you feel he could do a really meaty.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like he could pull off doing some serious shit, and they keep giving him these like jokey roles.
They'll probably give him like a more serious role in in the Gandalf trilogy or whatever they're gonna make next.
What? There's
What?
a Gandalf trilogy?
They've talked about they want to do more, and they said Gandalf or something. They want to maybe investigate as young Gandalf.
What?
That's
Why?
That's what I wanted after watching The Hobbit.
Yeah.
More Hobbit.
But wait, when did he get his fireworks from?
Yeah. No, that's silly.
all
Where
right.
does he get his tobacco for his pipe?
Okay, look, just as the one Tolkien person here,
No,
it
to be
would
fair.
seem. Okay.
But there is no, Tolkien never wrote any young Gandalf story. So I wouldn't want them to step outside of what he's written.
I think they
Sure.
already have steps
But
well
there is-
outside.
there is-
of what he's
yeah,
written.
definitely have.
That's
But there is like, a 3,000-year history before The
That's
Hobbit
true,
even
yeah.
kicks
So why
off.
don't explore
Like
that?
the Silmarillion. But I guess they're probably saying Gandalf's
read it.
story so that everybody else who doesn't know what Silmarillion is can go, oh, okay, before The Hobbit. You know what I mean? Because if you said
That
Silmarillion, they'd be
story
like,
has
what?
been
When he was
told.
still Gandalf
It's been
the
told.
Grey.
Just leave it alone. Just
But they
very
already
good.
stole bits from the Silmarillion for The Hobbit,
They did.
They did, yeah.
including songs that they turned into
Unnecessarily.
entire battles.
You know what would be interesting, if anything, is to explore offshoot stories that happened during The Lord of the Rings. Like with Terminator being revamped into Genesis, I'm like, why do you have to do these people still? Why do you have to do John Connor, Sarah Connor? Or like, why can't we be in the future where the war's already happening and follow brand new people
Yep.
who aren't the main people, taking care of the war? They're just trying to survive in this fucked up situation. Like, I feel like following characters who are in that situation that aren't the people we've already followed would be way more interesting. Like, there was a fan fiction of Harry Potter that was told from one of the other houses' perspective. I'm like, that sounds really cool. Like, you're not following the one.
Yeah.
You're following someone frustrated on the sidelines. Like,
Well, that's why,
I
like,
think
yeah,
we
Fantastic
spoke about
Beasts. It looks really cool with Harry Potter because that's basically what they're doing. It's just like in the same universe, and they're all like spiritual. I think we're going to see more of that stuff because it actually ties into what
'Cause
you're
I-
about
I
to talk
think-
about.
I think we spoke about it briefly, whether it's sequel or not, but Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, 10
And
Cloverfield Lane.
about, it's that same idea, setting something in the same universe, but let's look at it from that perspective.
It's a
Well,
spiritual sequel.
and it's like what your comic books do. The comic movie makers.
It's like what your comic books do.
Felt mean, but I don't know why.
No, but you know what I mean. Like they're taking a page out of that.
Yeah.
Out of that system.
Yeah, they're realizing we can build a universe. You don't have to use the same stories. And I agree with you completely.
I think that's...
I'm just trying to do our segue here. It's
Yeah.
a spiritual
So
sequel.
talking about spiritual sequels, this is the last film that I'm going to talk about that coming out, is Everybody Wants Some. And I know some of you guys have already seen, went to a preview screening of this last week. It's Richard Linklater's spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. Guys, take it away. It's not previews.
So me and Adrian
Doing spoilers.
and a few others, we went to...
Spoilers? No, we can't spoil.
No, I'm not going to do
can
any
we?
spoilers.
No.
But it's not that kind of film.
Well,
the ship sinks at the end.
They all die.
Everybody dies. Yeah, we went to see this. We were lucky enough we got to see one where Richard Linklater was there with some of the cast.
a
and
bit of
they
a
talked
Q&A
after.
afterwards, which was great.
Which was very interesting because he made a very big stipulation of he basically used the spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused line as a way to sell the film, and he never intended it to be but he never intended it to actually be. He said he never thought about Dazed and Confused when he was writing it or when they were making it.
They didn't watch it. They didn't.
Yeah, they
like,
didn't even
as a
show it.
cast, they didn't talk about it really at all ever.
Which I find fascinating because watching it and learning that afterwards in the Q&A, it's subconsciously, then clearly, if he wasn't thinking about it, very similar to Dazed and Confused in story beats and tone and, so many
Yeah,
elements
but
of the
I think
movie.
that's got a lot more to do with the filmmaker being him, and also that he uses his life and his experience and the way he likes to make films that feel like reality or like a heightened reality, or the way that feel like the way you remember things from your past. you
Yeah.
know?
What else did Linklater do?
Did the Before Sunrise trilogy. He did...
He did the boy one
yeah,
where he
Boyhood.
goes up, right?
Boyhood.
He did...
Did you like Boyhood?
I absolutely love those ideas. I think some of the film is actually a bit soapy,
Yeah.
but I fucking just admire the shit things like that, because that's the kind of thing I really want to do, is things where you
Conceptually, it was great.
Yeah.
I really love Boyhood. I have so much respect for Linklater as a filmmaker and artist, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I said to you, Al, it's a 3.5 for me, out of 5.
Okay.
Out of 5. I think there's some performance issues in there for me, and story arc, like character arc issues for me, as we've briefly talked about for the main character.
That's how I felt about Boyhood.
More specifically. Otherwise, it's funny. It's kind of like an art house frat film.
But that's what Dazed and Confused was.
Yeah, totally. There was just, I don't know. For me, there's more depth in Dazed and Confused, and it was a more interesting investigation for me personally.
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit more, and it might have something to do with the fact that I was alive in the 80s. So this one I kind of understand more, whereas Dazed and Confused, I wasn't alive in the 70s, and it's kind of more evocative to me. But I genuinely think Dazed and Confused is a better film, definitely. Like, it's one of my favorite films ever, and it's a very hard film to sell to people, because some people watch it and they're just like, it's just a, dumb, frat boy kind of film. I was like, no, but there's all these really interesting, possibly just accidentally, I don't know if he means to do this stuff, but he's just very intelligent with how he kind of places those characters and things. Fucking love it. And this one, honestly, I think it was about as good as it could have been for someone coming back to something like that nearly a quarter of a century later, to return to that sort of those themes.
Sure.
But yeah, I had problems here. I thought the lead character was the least interesting character.
Well, and I think I think if that was stronger, and I felt that it was a more complete arc, like that. Yeah, I felt there was like disparity between who I was being told he was at the end of the film as to how I experienced him throughout the whole.
He's just not a very nice guy.
Film.
And in A Dazed and Confused, you have almost identical character who's very innocent and do-eyed and trying to kind of fit in with the cooler kids around him, and you feel for him because he's really awkward. Whereas this guy's just kind of...
he's experiencing the conflict and, the challenge. And
he's the audience, basically, in Dazed and Confused. Where in this, I think you're meant to feel that the lead character's the audience, but I didn't at all because he's this pig-headed jock, basically. And by the end of the movie, you get suddenly a couple of sweet scenes from him, which didn't fit with his character.
Poetic, and it just didn't match up. And so that journey, it didn't feel...
But luckily it's an ensemble film, and the ensemble is it's so much fun, like really genuinely really funny. I haven't laughed that much in the film in ages, and for people like who seem only know Linklater for stuff like Before Sunrise and Before Midnight and Boyhood, sure, you're gonna get those kind of that sort of artistic way of making the film, directing of the film, but this is just a fun movie. It's a party film, like it's a proper party film, and I really really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. That'd be my recommendation.
Great. So out of those 4, which do you guys recommend seeing that then?
I'm excited for Hardcore Henry, but I 100% for me it would be Everybody Wants Some.
How about you guys? What are you going to go out and see?
Hardcore Henry.
Yeah. Achara? Nothing.
Chard's just going to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay, swiftly moving
Netflix
on.
and chill
We've
all
got
the way.
some game releases for Tuesday the 5th when you will be listening to this podcast. The biggest ones...
I'm going to tell you if they're real or not.
Okay, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Trilogy Pack on the Vita.
Sadly real.
Dead Star on PC.
No, it's not
PS4. Real. Dirt Rally.
This is real. It's a good game.
Enter the Gungeon.
That is real.
What?
Europa Universalis 4. Mare Nostrum.
It's not real.
Oh.
Job Simulator.
This is real. It's a VR game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually everyone's favorite VR game.
Okay.
You're kind of in, delis and stuff, and you're throwing hot dogs through windows and trying to make
that
stuff with
sounds
cookies.
fun.
And then you're in a desk job trying to do office stuff. It's fucking funny. The videos online are really
Lovely Planet.
yeah, that's a real game.
Quantum Break.
There we go. New game from the makers of Max Payne and Alan Wake.
Looks
and
pretty
it's
cool.
and it's kind of very interesting if the game does well, because this is the first game to incorporate a TV show into the game with big actors.
That's right. I forgot
So
about
you
that.
move back and forward. You'll play the game. You'll make a decision. There's like 6 episodes made. You'll only see 3 through one playthrough, depending on the decision you make. You'll watch an episode of the show. You'll continue playing the game with repercussions from the decision you made from the show in the game.
Oh shit!
I
have to buy the game almost. I didn't know it was like that.
It's
I
an
completely forgot about that.
interesting concept.
Yeah, definitely play that.
Comes out today.
Skullgirls Second Encore.
Yeah, that's real.
Oh, that sounds
Anything
awesome.
to do with the bikini girls on?
No.
Okay. Stickball, a dodgeball adventure.
No, that's not real.
That's it. So the biggest ones: Quantum Break, Lovely Planet, which seems to be a big popular one for VR.
And Dirt Rally.
Job Simulator and Dirt Rally.
Dirt Rally's genuinely great. If you're into racing games, Dirt's a great game, and that's the rally one.
And friends, that is it for this week's releases.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
How good was Sega Rally?
Sega Rally is my
that's
favorite
good.
rally game ever.
It's great.
It's my favorite car
Yeah,
game
me
ever.
too. Loved it.
Very quickly with the box office, I don't have our predictions from last week, I'm afraid. I think we were just right on
Yeah.
On number 15, Midnight Special, still the film I most want to go to cinema to get to see.
Definitely need to go see.
Number 14, Star Wars Force Awakens, comes out on Tuesday.
Blu-ray!
Today, on Blu-ray. 13, I Saw the Light. 12, London Has Fallen. 11, Hello, my name is Doris. 10, Deadpool, still hanging in there. Is it now officially the biggest, just under Avengers, as the biggest comic book film?
Well, it's just impressive because it's rated R.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like it's number 9, Eye in the Sky, which I'm being told is the best film on at cinemas right now. 8, Meet the Blacks. 7, 10 Cloverfield Lane. 6, the Divergent series Allegiant. 5, Miracles from Heaven. 4, God's Not Dead 2. 3, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. 2, Zootopia. And number 1, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Zootopia was great. Did you see Zootopia?
No, I'm desperate to see that film.
That is the best analogy for the African American plight in America.
Wow.
The best.
Cool.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think that going into it, and then the movie goes along, and you're like, oh wow, I'm being spoon fed the African American plight,
Wow.
and
They're going to do a double bill of that and Midnight Special.
We're not talking about the Zoolander.
No,
sequel.
Zoolander. Zootopia.
the Disney
It's
movie.
Disney's new one, but it's meant to be their best one in ages.
Okay.
And do you think it's the best thing Disney have done in a while?
Say that again.
The best thing Disney have done in a while?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, everything Disney has been putting out so far has been tremendous. I think like Wreck-It Ralph was great. Big Hero 6 was amazing, and now Zootopia. I'm like, it's just awesome what they're doing.
Cool.
Yeah, they've made a strong comeback.
So while Pixar come down a little bit, Disney have come up a bit to kind of meet them. Meet them.
Wow, it got quiet. That's awkward.
I like those pregnant pauses. People get some time to think.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Quiz? Time for a quiz?
No, I don't think we have time for a fucking quiz. We're gonna get out of here. That was the box office. We normally would do predictions on what is happening next week, but I don't want to get into that either. So, Jaby, can you please tell people where they can find your content and
just Google Jaby, Jaby. Google Jaby. 4 letters. Y'all can remember that.
And I noticed you're a smart man. You have the same name on your Instagram, on your Twitter, on your YouTube, on your Patreon, on your
Except for
Tinder.
Facebook. Facebook is the only place where I got fucked.
Really?
Basically, I had facebook.com/Jaby Koay, and that was my personal account. But I didn't want people going to my personal account. So I said, here, Facebook, I don't want this anymore. I want it to be facebook.com/something else. And then I tried to make my fan page facebook.com/Jaby Koay. And they wouldn't give it to me. They're like, it's being used already. I'm like, no, it's not. I just gave it up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and it's never given up forever.
Yeah.
So now it's facebook.com/follow-Jaby. But otherwise, just look up Jaby on Google and you'll find me. Yeah.
I know it's on your Patreon.
Yeah.
If I look you smiling.
Yeah.
If I pay you $1,000, you'll hang out with me for 3 days.
Yes.
Now I want to clarify something. Are we sleeping? Are we bunking? What's going on in that situation?
We will do anything you want. You can have a video camera and all.
Wow.
I may have to do a little business investment.
All right.
Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Alexander Chard or on Instagram at Alexander Chard. Funny thing about finding me on Instagram, the casting director who cast me for this commercial this week couldn't get in touch with my agent. Messaged me on Instagram.
No, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was weird. It couldn't. Yeah, she was like, she was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to seem like a stalker, but can you call me about this job?
Always the best opening line.
So it all worked out.
Yeah, Instagram's weird because you can do that. Like some of the people I was casting for something, some of the sort of not as big people where we'd have to go for a casting director. I just found it on my Instagram and I was like, oh, I can just message them. They don't even have to be following me, which is just really weird. It's not like Twitter. You can just send them a message.
Yes and no. Instagram might not let the message go through.
Yeah, that's what happened. So I got a notification. It was like, will you accept a message from so-and-so?
Oh, really? Who's this? So if it's from a stranger you're not following, do they just get a thing saying that a message has come and you have to accept it?
And when you're a lot bigger, it's a lot harder to discern messages because like I have 99 plus messages from people I don't know, and it's like some of those might be people I actually know, but it's like a lot of stuff to exactly.
Yeah.
It's
interesting. I'm an adequate size, as I've been told. Adrian,
at Adrian _Auld.
Is it, and that's AULD.
AULD.
Is that on the Twitters or the Instas or the Rocks?
That's on the
Grindr.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Twitter.
Twitter. Okay, cool. Achara, I'm sorry we've invited you on our podcast and then we've just talked dorky things for way too long, and I apologize.
That's okay. It's just
GEEKS.
It's just dorky things that I'm not particularly dorky at. All right.
Jeez. Thank you very much for coming. We liked having you around. I'm enjoying your tiger shirt today.
Thank you. I have a collection of animal t-shirts.
Okay. What other animals do you have?
I have a snake. I have my pug t-shirt, which I've worn on this before.
Yeah.
This conversation got elevated really fast.
I have cats on tacos. No, Doritos.
Cats on tacos?
No. It's on cats.
What
on,
witchcraft
cats
is this?
Chips. Yeah.
I think that was my favorite so far. Actually, your pug one's more adorable, but I think this one's striking.
Yes, tigers are one of my favorite animals.
Next time wear cats on chips.
Yeah, I nearly wore that today, but then I was like, you know what? It's a big cat type of day.
Okay.
Big cat.
Yeah.
If you want to find Achara, Google Jaby Achara.
People want to see pictures of your things.
Pictures of things. You can follow me at Kwani on Instagram.
How do you spell that?
KWUNNY.
Is it the same on the Twitters?
No, on the Twitters it's just at Achara Kirk, just to confuse you guys.
Nice. You can follow us. We are Tessellate, 2 S's, 2 L's on everything. It's our website, it's our Twitter, it's our Instagram, it's our Bebo, it's our Humble.
MySpace.
Humble.
MySpace.
Definitely MySpace.
Friendster. We're going back there.
That's it. I was trying to think of the other one. Friendster.
That's our AOL account. Please go on to iTunes. Just find us. If you type in Tessellate, it's the easiest way. You'll find our Geeks podcast. I really appreciate it if you can subscribe, if you can rate us, tell us mean things. We really don't care as long as you're saying something. And
send in some heartfelt messages for Nate and his memory.
Yeah, Nate, unfortunately, still not with us. But the burial's next weekend. So
yeah,
so
it should be a nice service.
It's a nice, peaceful time for us.
If you have any questions, personal or otherwise, feel free to send those in.
We are Tessellate@outlook.com. You can follow me, Mr. Al White, on all the game consoles and all of the social stuff. Thank you very much. And we're out. Geeks!
Geeks!
Fucking hell.
That was a really short podcast.
That one got away from us a little bit.
How long
It's you with your fucking interesting questions.
Interesting
Like sitting there,
question.
and every now and then you're looking at your phone. Like, I don't know this dude yet, but maybe he's worried about time because he's a busy man. He's got places to be. And then you go, I've got a question for you guys. It's like, fuck you, man.